hair and all that. It's cool.
This is the X&C Podcast, your Xbox newscast, featuring Colteastwood and Mag, hosting industry interviews and gaming talk live on YouTube every Monday night at 5 p.m. on the West Coast, 8 p.m. on the East Coast. For all of you listening around the world, X&C Podcast is available on demand on Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. Welcome to the show. Join the chat, hit the like button, and let's get into this week's topics with the Xbox newscast. Welcome, everybody. Yeah, I know what we're doing. Yeah, I hit a couple of buttons, but we're live. Welcome to the XNC Podcast. Instead of Mag, I've got a really cool special guest, some guy that I've been talking to for like 3.5 years every time I go to an event, and I've been wanting to have him on. He is the biggest Xbox gaming channel on YouTube, 214 or 15,000 subscribers. He is super famous and only slightly handsome, but it's Ray from Xbox Ready. What's going on?
Man, what an intro. Dang, you really, you keyed in on that one. You want to know where me and Colt met, guys? The very first event that we ever went to. And actually, it was my first time being invited out to a gameplay preview. I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, I really felt like it was such a special moment in my career as a content creator. That game was Redfall. A little ditty by Arcane Austin. Yeah. And I was so excited. And then I just remember we were all kind of like, we all went out to eat after. We were like, yeah, that was like,
We were kind of shell shocked. Was that your first time being flown out to an event? Or you weren't flown out? It was
so I took an Uber downtown, and I was like, whoa, this is so crazy. I still have couple of the controller, and then remember the ticket they gave us? It was like a metallic ticket to Redfall. I still have really that cool. Too. I don't know, I'm like, who else is? I don't know, with the history of this game, but it has sentimental value to me, so I've hung on to those things. But yeah, man, I'm happy to be on. Obviously, like Colt was saying, that we've been seeing each other at events, and when you see, it's so cool to kind of run into these guys that you see only online. Seeing Colt and Cog at these events and all sorts of these creators just converging into one spot, for the showcase every summer, and then getting to catch up and getting to know them, in person, not just on a screen. So it's really cool to be here. And it's like the plans made it out of the group chat. We're always like, oh yeah, we gotta have you on, or you gotta come on my channel, and then it rarely does it ever happen because life is just crazy. So I'm glad we were able to make it work today.
Yeah, and you're not even on Twitter, really. You don't really use it. So,
nah.
Thank goodness for that. I wish I did that. I always want to reach out to you.
Man. You're always up on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I know. I just live there.
Active. You get active. Bro. Yep.
Making a cool, $30, $40 $50 a month on there for all my troubles. Is it worth it? I don't know. If it pays for my therapist, maybe it'll be worth it. But I got to ask you, what were your impressions of Redfall? We were talking while we were having little bites of snacks and kind of decompressing from. What did you think of it after you played it?
Well, I remember because it's so tricky going to these events, right? Because the events are always cool, and it's the events are cool. There's cool people at the events. There's free food and just it's awesome. So the vibes were great, but I remember because Jimmy was still living in LA, so he was also there too. And so we were at the at adjacent PCs. And I remember he was going into the settings to try to mess around with them to see if he can get the
Oh,
game
he
to
was the
run better.
one. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I always remember
so,
that story.
And then so someone like one of the devs behind him was like, "What are you doing?" And I remember being like, "Is this how it always is?" Like someone like is just like I remember being like kind of scared to like go in myself to see the settings to see like what. And then we were trying to ask what build it was. I remember, and they were kind of being like, "Oh well, like da 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 da." But overall, I was like, you know what? Like the level that we played was fun. Like the area that we played was fun.
Yeah, it was like the
I
best
remember
part of
being
the
like,
game, I
okay,
told people.
it
Yeah.
was like, okay, yeah, like this is like, it could be depending on, how like if they get all these technical issues. But that was at the time, man, that was a rough news cycle because at the time, remember, it was locked at 30 FPS and like no performance mode, even on the Series X at launch.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really feel like Redfall, like it has gone down as like this meme of everyone hates it, worst game this generation for Xbox by far. But I feel like if it launched with a performance mode, wasn't as buggy with the textures, wasn't always crashing, wasn't always online, it
Yeah.
maybe could have gotten to like that 6.5, 7 out of 10 range. Like not the best game ever, but definitely not the way it's remembered as the worst game this generation.
Yeah. I remember there's some stories that I never told back then. Like that was such a volatile moment for me because I was so infamous because I had people who've watched my podcast know I had a famous tweet that had like 1 million views with my combat montage that I put together. But I remember
yeah.
that the internet went out while we were playing the game. Like the whole server shut down
Yeah,
and we all got
crashed.
kicked off the game. And we had to get up and eat cupcakes and drink, Cokes and wait for them to get everything back online. And everyone starts to get back in the game. And I launched the beginning of the game, which we weren't allowed to see. You wake up on the shipwreck with huge waves over, and it looked amazing. And I was like, I'm pretty sure I'm not supposed to be here. And you get that tap on your shoulder by the devs, like, you're not supposed to be doing that. And then the guy grabs it and he's like, Control Delete, and he's doing tilde and hitting all these things. And it was my first event. I didn't really know how I didn't know what the protocol was, other than, they're like, hey, we're gonna let you play this thing. You're gonna do it solo, and it was definitely a moment. But
I mean, ultimately, like it's kind of like it's a tragedy almost, because then you started hearing about Arcane Austin hoping Microsoft or Xbox would kill the game and they could start over on a new pitch, or the ideas that they wanted to work on after Redfall, and they just never got the chance. It's like a big what if scenario for everyone, and it's unfortunate for sure. I definitely learned a lot from that press cycle, and then what ultimately ended up happening. It was a crazy ride.
Yeah, I heard some pretty horror stories on Xbox's side as well that I don't get to repeat. But yeah, it was a pretty big mess. So we were talking last week about Pete Hines. He has like bones to pick with Microsoft as well. So it's been pretty dicey situation.
Yeah.
But tell everybody, I want to have you kind of tell your story. Like, how did you get into YouTube and content creation and choosing Xbox of all platforms to cover?
Well, I've been I can't claim OG status. A lot of people in this community, this fandom, can claim like, oh, I was there at GameStop lining up to like get my original Xbox. I can't claim that. When the original Xbox came out, I was 8 years old, going on 9. It was a great year. And I remember looking like Xbox. I had a PS2 at the time, and great. Yeah,
it was like 24.
No way.
Yeah.
Damn, but the thing is that Xbox, when it came out at the time, I had a PS2 and I was playing lots of great games, but lots of like younger, games for a younger audience, right? Like Sly Cooper, Ratchet and Clank. Yeah. And so Xbox comes out, my older brother gets it, and by default, like everything this dude does is cool, right? Like everything he does.
Yep, I have one of those.
He gets the Xbox, and he's playing Combat Evolved, he's playing Max Payne, he's playing Fable, all games that I couldn't play because my parents wouldn't let me play rated M games. But I was just like, damn, that is so much cooler than what I got a PS2, which is a great console. So ever since then, I've just had this like fascination with Xbox. It just had this cool factor about it. And you could probably speak more on that because you probably remember it from a different perspective than I did. But I was just like, damn. And by the time the 360 came along, I needed to have that because everyone after
Yeah.
school was playing Halo 3, and I needed to also play that game too. So I've been not OG, but I've been an Xbox fan for a long time. I stuck with it through the Xbox One, and then I went Gen 9 with the Series X. And during that time, I met Jimmy Champagne, who at the time was working with Austin Evans, who big tech YouTuber.
Yep. Yeah, he's
Um,
awesome.
and at the time, he was experimenting with his own gaming channel. He had experience with his personal channel, which was like a horror YouTube. And so, we got to talking, and I was kind of looking for a new direction in life. And he was like, you know what? Like, it's going really well on the PlayStation side of things. How about like we start this channel, Xbox, and just do, you host it, and it's the same format, and then the rest is kind of history. We kind of launched at like the perfect time, man, because my first video went up like September 2021 ish.
Okay. Yeah.
And then that was like in the heat of Xbox's 20th anniversary. And it was really popping off with Forza coming around the corner, Forza Horizon 5, and Halo Infinite multiplayer surprise dropped like maybe like a few weeks after that.
Yeah.
And
Series
so
X was
there
in
was
its first year. It was big. It was really big.
yeah, there was a ton of interest, and I wasn't quite sure because I was like, I don't really know, coming off that Xbox One generation if there's still, you know, dudes like me out there. And then through Xbox already, like I have been just exposed to this entire community that I didn't even know previously, other than like keeping up through, YouTube and sometimes Twitter. TikTok was like kind of in its infancy, so not so much on that. But yeah, and then a couple hundred videos later, and now I'm here on this podcast.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I remember talking to you at 2023 Xbox Mixer, like the invite only thing. And you're like, "Oh yeah, I just make these TikToks." And I'm like, "TikTok?" I'm like, "I'm too old for TikTok because I'm like 15 years older than you or whatever the math is."
Yeah, dude. The
And you were like, "Oh yeah, it's real easy. I just do it on my phone, like all the tools." And you were talking to me while we were kind of in front of the bar there, and my head was spinning. I'm like, I can't even imagine the stuff I do at my workstation. And you were cranking out these TikToks, and yeah, I just thought that was really cool. How did you?
it's crazy. It's short form content has really like just blown up because like at these events that me and Colt go to, there was like when I started going, it was like they were kind of just starting out. I'm thinking of guys like Rapid Reacts, like Red Bear Gaming, Sarth, Esports Center. Like all these guys were like, we do kind of what you guys do, but short form, like 60-second content. And I was like, that's so crazy. Like, because the monetization really wasn't there yet. And they were like, oh, but like they're starting like all these like new, like, TikTok creator fund, same thing with Reels. And it just blew up, especially like with everything happening with TikTok and being sold and not like, being banned in the US. And then Reels making a big push like from Meta. Like it's just
Yep.
absolutely blown up. I'm like, dang, I should have gotten in on that earlier than what I did because like it's just like a whole and it's weird because the audiences are separate too. So like, I'll post something on Instagram and people have no context for
They
who
have
I
no
am.
idea who
Like
you
they
are.
don't know
Yeah.
they haven't, they don't know that I have this YouTube channel that's about like Xbox stuff. And surprisingly, the things that I've been posting about that have been really blowing up lately is anime stuff.
Oh,
Anime
really?
and Avatar: The Last Airbender. I had this one reel pop off for like it's at like 1.4 million views and it's still churning followers and
Oh,
content. It's just me talking about isn't the scene from Avatar crazy where they bust into Ba Sing Se and like mess everyone up? It's so
really?
weird like how virality works and the internet and the algorithm and yeah, it's always changing. Like even from that 2023 showcase that we met, like
Yeah.
so much has changed in terms of people's viewing habits and AI is like a thing we weren't even worried about at the time. And that was 3 years ago, just 3 showcases ago, and it's
I
like
mean, just a year ago, it
whole
was totally
landscape.
different.
Yeah, it's crazy, man.
I always remembered your advice and your motivation about making TikToks and short form content. And I always thought, man, I should be doing that. And then one day my friend Obi, who does TikTok, he's like, Colt, some guy's been stealing your videos and posting them, and he's got tons of views. This guy would grab like 60 seconds of my production videos about like Xbox Magnus and stuff, and he would just post them and put the titles over them, like the captions, the dynamic captions. And this guy was getting like, hundreds of thousands of views. And I'm like, what the F? So I reported him, and then I started making my own. And last year I was making a TikTok like almost every day, like at least 5 a week. And then I thought, oh, I got to get to 10,000 before I start getting paid for these. But yeah, I mean, it's
crazy.
It's crazy work. I could, we can make a short form video on TikTok in like 20 minutes, but if I'm talking a video, it's probably 6 hours. So, but we got a bunch of news to talk about. I'm so glad you're here. I'm glad that we're finally doing the show together. I've always wanted to ask you, and I've always wanted to have you on. And then my friend Fonz had you on a couple times. Like, I don't want to ask him because he was just on there. But for everybody who's wondering, Mag is out today. He's home with his kid. His kid like went super hard in sports, and so Mag's gonna watch over him and make sure he's good to go for the night, and then he'll be back next week. And Ray was the first person I thought of. So he's got the channel Xbox ready. If you go to his @ in the description, you can go hit the subscribe on there and check out his content. He covers a ton of hardware, Game Pass news, a lot of stuff that you'll see on my channel as well. But Ray, we're going to talk about some crazy stuff. We'll start talking. I'll take a playbook out of
crazy stuff. Okay.
I'm going to take a playbook out of a play out of the playbook from Jimmy Champagne and Ray about new Xbox hardware. Yeah, that was the new thing that was revealed today. You probably saw
Xbox news.
Yeah, I do. So you saw the new controller and the new headset. I kind of have mixed feelings about it, but I thought I would get your opinion first. We'll talk about the new Forza thing.
Well, that's interesting because I really liked Forza Horizon 5's special edition controller. That was one of the all-time greats. With the yellow and like the see-through faceplate and then the grips, like that was top tier special edition accessory. This one, I looking at from the vibes, I'm like, okay. I do like the kind of like 90s aesthetic, but I understand a lot of the criticisms of like, I'm not really getting Japan or like Forza from this, right?
No.
And I'm not saying, because some people are like, they could have put like anime characters on it or something. I'm like, I don't know about all that, but like, yeah, I do agree kind of like with the criticism of what they're saying. If I looked at it and I didn't know that it was linked to FH6, it wouldn't pop out to me. It's not popping out to me as something that's like explicitly Forza. But like the color scheme, it's nice. I do like the bright kind of 90s style.
Did you notice that the greenish yellow lines were actually supposed to be like the map roads?
Yeah.
How would you have designed this thing?
How I designed this thing?
I'm a designer. I have ideas, but
I don't know, man. I don't know. I think I would go. I would lean more into because the big thing is the landscape of Japan, like the map. Everyone is excited to explore Japan in this game, and so I would lean more into the natural kind of landscape of the map and try to inspire this controller at it. Like everyone's been making a big deal about the cherry blossoms and driving in the distance of Mount Fuji, like some more natural elements that are specific to Japan is what I would say.
Yeah. I guess I would have liked to see it be white, pink, and maybe some red to kind of call back to the cover car and stuff like that. But normally Xbox's custom or themed controllers are really awesome. This one is kind of like, and then when I look back at the 5 one, like you talked about it, it's just yellow with a splash of pink. That's supposed to be, which I always thought it was supposed to be the mud, because that iconic imagery from Forza Horizon 5 is that pink, blue, and yellow Ford Fiesta jumping over like the dirt hill.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, whatever.
Yeah, it's what, but like even like the Starfield one you have in the back, because it's like it's more of like a simplistic design, but I still really like that as well. You don't have to do too much when it comes to a controller, and I mean I have the Witcher one right here. I don't know if you can kind of see it with the lighting.
Oh,
But
yeah.
like even something like that, I'm like, yeah, I'm just not feeling kind of the essence of the game. But like the colors are bright and pretty and grab your eye. So
Yeah.
I'd give it like a 6 for me.
I mean, with it being translucent, that helps a lot. If it was just a flat color, I would have been like, what the crap? Like a PlayStation typically phones in their theme controllers. I don't think most fans really like the game theme controllers they do.
The Ragnarok one, it's just like, here's a wolf.
Yeah, it's just like a sticker squad, but yeah. But I don't know. New Xbox hardware, right? It's exciting. So
new Xbox hardware, I've been hearing a lot of a big Xbox update. Huge Xbox update is the new thing. It's no longer hardware. Huge Xbox update is the huge thing now.
Yeah, well, I mean, a lot of people thought the hardware was going to get canceled. Let's talk about the update to the hardware, because Kepler L2, who is a really trusted insider when it comes to the Magnus chip for Xbox, the PS6, he spoke out about the new Xbox Helix and said, quote, "It's not custom because it's been co-engineered." No, that's not the right quote. Hold on. I was about to read the rebuttal. He said that the Xbox Magnus chip is not going to have a custom GPU, which will take away what really makes the Xbox special, and that's having a custom GPU. And when I think about something special and custom with Xbox, I think, oh, you mean something that none of the developers will actually use? Because, Ray, I was there during the Xbox One X reveal and the Series X reveal, especially the Series X, where full RDNA 2, all these features PlayStation would never have because they went for a pared down chip that wasn't fully, they didn't wait for the full development of RDNA 2. And then for years, we never saw any of those features implemented into games. And so now Kepler L2 is saying Xbox is going to lose that special feeling by just having some off-the-shelf GPU on their SoC. I don't know if you follow this hardware stuff all that closely, but I don't know.
Yeah. I was reading about that today at the gym. And it's just like, my first thoughts, I'm like, this is a non-story, right? Like, this is a it's one thing to be talking about chip specifications and what we can expect in Project Helix. It's another thing to say, Xbox is losing their identity. How many times has Xbox lost its identity over the past even like couple weeks, right?
Like 9.
And we're like, what? We know what Xbox's goal is right now. I was at GDC back in March, and they're really working hard to try and unify the entire platform, whether it comes to Windows or Xbox. They had a whole session about developers making your game once, being able to play it across the whole ecosystem, right? And whatever enables them to make it as easy as possible for these people, for these studios, these devs to put their games, whether it's the smallest indie game or a big AAA budget title, that's what they got to do, right? And if they have to lose that special feeling, which is debatable for me, in order to achieve that goal,
yeah,
I think we can let it go, because at the end of the day, consumers aren't going to care about these kind of nitpicky anything going on under the hood of that. It's just, are these games awesome? Is the console cool, affordable? Like, that's what ultimately people are going to care about, not like, oh, is there like there's no customization in this chip. Yeah, I think this is a non-story for sure.
Yeah, I also think that the head-to-head PS6 versus Helix thing is not as prevalent as it used to be. Even Digital Foundry's kind of gone away from it, but a developer that I've been talking to for years, Kirby Louise, said it's not custom because it's been co-engineered and it's going to have the exact same features as the PC version and not be gimped, in his words, like certain other platforms always are. This is the end game for what Microsoft is working towards. On top of Kirby Louise's comments, who is he's a small developer that works with hardware and game development. there was a community note on the tweet that said that Kepler L2 also said that the PS6 was not going to have a custom GPU. It was one of those, I don't often whine about this, but maybe it sounds like I do. It's just one of those things where WCCF Tech was like, okay, here's negative news that will rile up the PlayStation fans to mock and the Xbox fans to defend, which means we'll get double the clicks. And it, like you and I think, it's a non-story.
Classic.
It's classic. It's absolutely classic. Yeah, we don't even know what the frequency clock speeds of these things are. That's all up in the air. It's not for us to know yet. So
Project Helix and the PS6 are probably going to change so many times between now and when they launch, right? Just given everything that's going on with the supply constraints. And this was, I mean, it was at first I was excited because I'm like, I'm going to learn more about Project Helix. And then when I dove into the discourse, I was like, yeah, all right, I'm just going to move on with my day.
I did get like 10 great videos out of what could be, but when it comes to the end, they don't know what the form factor of the Helix is going to be, or the PS6. Like, you got to know what the thermals are, and then the power draw, and then balancing those two things. That's when we'll really find out what these things are going to do. But hey, you got the Project Helix T-shirt though. Did everybody welcome you with open arms, getting that free box from Asha Sharma?
This was something because, like you mentioned before, I'm not really on Twitter that much. I'll check in every now and then to keep up with, just quick things happening. Mm-hmm. But I'm mostly on other platforms. So I got this box and I was like, hell yeah, this is cool. And then I didn't realize it was a whole thing until I checked in on Twitter, with this discourse about, the parasocial relationships and, they're buying these guys' opinions. It's real. I thought it was really strange, mostly because, I'm not going to sit here and say, like, when people say, oh, you're bought, people pay for your opinions or whatever, I'm not going to pretend like that doesn't happen, right? But when it does happen, you have to legally say that they give you money, right? You legally have to disclose that something is sponsored or something is an ad. That's what you have to do.
Via YouTube and the company is what Ray's talking about. Like both of those, you have to do double confirmation of that. Yeah. So sorry.
Yeah. So, and like, what is so strange to me is like, I just never, I don't usually go here myself, Colt, but I'm going to say that it was an Xbox thing, like people getting all up in arms about, and creators getting Project Helix merch, because I don't think people realize, like, people get a lot more and no one says anything about it, right? I know, like, for Phantom Blade Zero, they flew out a bunch of creators internationally, pay for their flights, pay for their hotel, and then pay for sponsored content about their stuff. And no one said, like, oh, Phantom Blade Zero, back at it again, trying to buy people's opinions, blah, 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 shilling. Yeah. It was just like, because everyone was just like, oh, that's cool. Like, you got flown out to Shanghai and you got to play this cool game. So, like, the fact that all this happened with, like, getting a couple of T-shirts and a hat, I just thought it was crazy. Especially everyone is saying that Xbox doesn't care about hardware anymore. And so what does Xbox start doing? They start, Asha reveals Project Helix. They double down on hardware at GC especially. And they start trying to drum up excitement about Project Helix by sending out this merch and getting, these influencers to talk about it. And still people are like, nah. We didn't want them talking about hardware like no. We like everyone's always going to have a problem.
Do you think that?
But
do you think that people get bent out of shape because of the Project Helix? It's like $60 worth of gear sitting back here, right? A hat and two shirts, whatever. Do you think people get bent out of shape because they were rallying that the idea that Xbox was going to leave the hardware business? They had made many. Well, I guess maybe I'm leading the witness, but do you think that's kind of like people get bent out of shape because maybe they might feel proven wrong based on what you were just explaining that Xbox is doing?
I definitely think, and you're definitely very familiar with this, that there's a lot of people that want Project Helix to fail. even before they even really know anything about it. Just like
Weird.
they want the Xbox brand to fail or just be a publisher, or just so they can say I told you so, right? I think at the end of the day, people there is this tribalism when it comes to certain tech products, right? iPhone versus Android,
Oh yeah.
and that was baked into our gaming interests for years at this point. PlayStation versus Xbox, and some people just kind of want to win, and they want to feel validated in their purchase, like they made the right choice, and not just the right choice for them, but like the objectively right choice. So that leads to a lot of you know just crazy stuff. Again, you would know more about it than me, because that's a lot of that's on Twitter. I don't really
Yeah.
that's not really in my wheelhouse. But yeah, I would say that people were I would say I'm pretty surprised at how hard that Asha and Xbox has been going on Project Helix. Asha comes in, there's all this talk about changes and returning to Xbox and all that, and recommitting to hardware, and it's like, okay. But then, like, within weeks, she basically stakes her entire career on Project Helix by tying it to her name, by announcing it through her Twitter account, by signing these cards and sending out these merch packages. So it's pretty, it's surprising even for me as a fan. I didn't think that they would be getting moving on this as quickly as they have.
Doesn't sound like an AI construct, does it?
No. No.
Let me read a couple of questions here. Kung Fu Hot Dog, who's been a member for 38 months, says, Colt Mag, he wrote this before Ray showed up. He says, two of my favorite YouTube guys, but this question will work. What's that?
I'm sorry I'm not Mag, guys. I'll try my best.
It's so funny. Like, it doesn't matter who you bring on. People are like, hey, where's the other guy? Get him out. No, I'm just kidding. He says, what video are you most proud of that you've made? And will you be meeting any game studios at Xbox Showcase? First of all, I'll go first, Ray. People have asked me before, like, what is my favorite video that I've made? I honestly think most all of my videos are kind of made the same way. So I try to put like the same editing flourishes in them. But I guess one of my favorite recent videos that I've made was all the features and specs for PS6 and Helix going forward, where I looked for imagery that matched PlayStation and Xbox. I had gameplay that I recorded from both platforms, and just tried to like keep all that moving so people could like, be interested in everything shown. But some of those comparison videos are probably my favorite. What video you're the most proud of, or maybe your biggest viewed video? Maybe that'd be another good question.
Shoot, that's an important stipulation, because usually the videos that I'm most proud of, the videos that I'm most excited for, flop.
Yep.
They just go down to the gutter hard, 10 to 10. And the videos I think no one's gonna give a damn about this blow up. My favorite videos that I've done, just off the top of my head, and the kind of, I think it might have been year 1 or 2 of Xbox Ready. No, it was definitely year 1, because Psychonauts 2 was coming out. Double Fine. And I got the voice of Rasputin Quado to come on and do an interview with me. Richard Horvitz is his name.
Awesome.
He's the voice of Invader Zim, Billy from Billy and Mandy. I've been a huge fan of his work for a really long time. And so getting to talk with him about his work and about the process and his stories that he had, and then even trying to get the game, because he had this really awesome story about how they were bringing him in for Psychonauts 2, and then all of a sudden they just stopped calling him because they ran out of money. And then
oh my gosh, I didn't know that.
Microsoft buys Double Fine, and then that's what enables them to get the call back Richard to get him back in a booth. So his perspective was so cool. So I think about that a lot. And another one of my favorite videos I thought was going to go over super well was when Stalker 2 was coming out. And I did a whole video about me going to the gameplay preview and then, interviewing the cinematic lead. I was like, oh, people are going to love this. People are going to love this. And people did not love it in terms of the views. Like I was proud of how the
I
video came
know.
out, how my interview did, but in terms of the views, it was not performing. But I'm still very proud of that. My most viewed, or one of my most viewed videos, was a video that I didn't think anyone would care about. It was when Xbox was sending people the Amazon Fire Sticks that
Oh
had the
yeah,
Xbox
yeah. I
app
remember this
loaded on
video.
it.
I remember the
So I
thumbnail
was
well.
like, yeah, I was like, okay, like, you know, I don't, because every time I talked about cloud gaming up to that point, I don't give a damn. So I'm like, okay, well, I have this thing, I might as well make a video out of it.
I would have never done it.
And it ended up being like a freaking million view video. I'm like, so yeah, sometimes how these things work out is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But those are the three that.
When Ray says a 10 out of 10 video, YouTube is very aggressive, and it tells the creators when you upload a video, it's like, this is a 10 out of 10 out of your last videos. It is the lowest of your last 10 videos, and it's completely deflating. Yeah. So anything, 7, 8, 9, or 10 out of 10, you're, oh man, I guess with all the time, it's just one of those things. But hey, I mean,
and then there is where you're like 7 to 10, I'll take it. I'll take
yes.
it.
Yeah, that's where I am today.
7 to 10.
Yeah.
As long as it's not 8, 9, or 10, I'll take it, man.
One of the things we're going to talk about today on the show is 14 of probably the biggest video games of the year have no release date.
Okay.
And there are rumors about them being pushed into 2027. And as far as we know, the developers are like, hey, we're coming out in 2026. And I'm like, oh yeah? When? So we're gonna break those down and talk about those a little bit later in the show. Grumpy Old Fart, thanks for the Canadian 5, says, do you think that the box of Helix swag is the size of the new Helix console? Hi, Colt. Hi, Ray. And he says, hi, Meg, who's at home watching.
I don't know, bro.
I haven't given this much thought, but I am going to predict. I'm going to predict that the Helix is maybe a few inches bigger or taller than the Steam machine. Typically tech shrinks. I don't know why the PlayStation 5 is so big, but the Pro is much smaller. So I'm just going to guess.
Yeah.
I'd never really given it thought, Ray, but I would think the Helix would be a few inches taller than the Steam machine. What about you? You think it'll be massive? Massively huge.
My massive Xbox news. I honestly I really like how the Series X is designed.
Yeah.
Like, it may not be like the most eye-grabbing thing, but like I think in terms of efficiency and the heating and the vents, like just the way it's constructed, I like that. Like, it's just a box. Like, you don't have to do anything crazy. So if it was just like a little bit shorter than the Series X, again, like you go for the same cube nature that the Steam machine is doing, yeah, I would be happy with that. As long as you can, I mean, if the idea is that they want people to put this in their home entertainment systems, so TV specifically,
it can't
not
have
so much
wings
monitors.
and
yeah, it can't
flanges.
have all this crazy stuff. It can't be too big, right? So yeah, the wings, yeah, the fins.
I hate it.
Fins will go down in infamy, and to the point where like people will replace them for the ones that don't have the flare.
I did.
Right? They just have like the round. Yeah.
I got the D brand ones that just follow the curvature. It's low profile. It's black matte. It takes my PS5 used to look like Don Johnson from Miami Vice. That's an too old of a reference for Ray because he's 12. But yeah,
bro. Do me like that, man.
Yeah. Hey, man, I'm super old. Yeah.
No, man.
That's a good question, Grumpy.
You're young at heart, man.
Yeah. Hey, I'm still here, right?
You still have the passion and the drive to keep making these videos, and there's something youthful about that.
Yeah, there is. I've got I made so many videos this past week, and I just made one today, so it's been busy. We got Carlos Fontes, thanks for the 5, says, hey, do you think the Series X expansion cards will work with Project Helix? This is something I've given some thought.
Ooh.
What do you think, Ray? I have an answer here.
No.
I say no as well. Yeah.
No. As much as I want to say, hell yeah, I don't think it's in the cards because I mean talk about custom like bringing it back. Like these are custom to the point where only 2 manufacturers can even make them for freaking Xbox.
And they're
So like if the idea
overpriced.
is that, yeah, but if there is this kind of if Project Helix is going more PC, maybe it'll be more compatible with just like standard memory expansions and SSD
I think it
sticks.
will. You know,
Maybe, which are obviously cheaper than what the proprietary stuff that the Seagate or WD Digital, WD Black. So there's some bright side to it, but I think you might have to leave it behind. Unfortunately, I got a 2 terabyte one, so that's gonna be tough.
yeah. Well, they did say you can crack those things open and get them to work on Windows PC. Not that I would. I just have a 1 terabyte one, but I'll remind you.
I was seeing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
And I also tried like
you should
the
do a
bootleg
video,
Temu.
massive Xbox hack.
Massive Xbox hack. Yeah, I tried with the Temu like little thing and like put an SSD in that and then like trying to trick the Xbox into doing it, and it wasn't working. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like they got that locked down. But
Yeah,
all the other
do.
accessories should be good.
They had to design a spot on the motherboard for direct storage for those cards. And I can't see them doing that again because Ray's right. I think they're going to go with regular M.2 SSDs. And it was really sucky because I thought it was such a cool design until I saw the prices. Because PlayStation had it right. You could get more storage for half the price sometimes with just a regular conventional M.2. Yeah. City Stevo, thanks for the 5. He says, I'm looking at topics, Colt, and I don't want a custom GPU in the box. I want a tried and tested desktop solution this time around. City Stevo knows what he's talking about when it comes to hardware. So, I mean, like we said earlier, the PS6 is not a custom GPU. Neither is the Xbox. The whole SoC is custom. It's the whole thing. The memory array, all that's going to be custom. Like, why does the GPU have to be some special thing and then everyone has to figure out how to get it to work? But one more and then we'll move on. Thanks for Panda Hands for the 5. Says, suggestion for Project Helix hardware, launch with a green transparent version as an option. The green transparent plastic.
That's cool. You're onto something.
Yeah.
I like that. If they're really trying to cash in on Xbox nostalgia, return to Xbox, I mean, it fits with everything that Asha is saying. So, yeah, I think that's cool.
Yeah. I mean, I think about the OG Xbox. When you were saying at the beginning of the show, I didn't get an OG Xbox until the end of 2006 because I wasn't gaming like during a time when you were in the playground. I was raising a family. But yeah, I mean, I don't look at the original Xbox as this massive retro memory in my life. I literally had one for 6 months, and then I'm like, I gotta have a 360. So I don't care what they do. I just hope it looks nice and clean. I hope the Helix just looks like classy, like the Steam Machine looks cool. All right. Yeah, we got let's talk about Starfield because Red Wolf in the chat, he made a great Starfield video today because the news broke that Starfield Ray, Twitter was wrong. All right. I'm just going to tell you this right now. Twitter was dead wrong. Starfield is a #1 seller last week, over the past 2 weeks. It's done really, really well, and it picked up on PC, but it did super well on PlayStation. And Red Wolf wants to know, Ray, do you like Starfield? Uh-oh. King Fanman's in the chat. Says, did someone say Starfield? You better be careful how you answer this one.
Yes. I ultimately.
All right, we'll kick him off, guys.
I played like 60-ish hours of Starfield, which, would be okay for any other game, but for an open world as big as Starfield and the Bethesda game in general, it's pretty light for me. It wasn't hitting for me, but I understand the appeal, and I haven't jumped into free lanes since
I haven't
dropped. So I'm definitely willing to give it another chance. But especially at launch, yeah, it just wasn't hitting in the way that I was hoping. Not saying it's a bad game, but it just wasn't. I wasn't itching to like boot up my Xbox again and jump right back in.
Yeah.
And it was a tough review period because we got a lot of time. I think we got it like 2 weeks before launch.
Yeah, I was trying to remember
which
how
is
many
like,
days it was, like 15 days or something. Yeah.
It was like a pretty decent chunk of review time. But for half of that, I was down in Mexico for my sister's wedding. So
Oh,
I was like, this is
okay.
just, I was like, damn it. And that was before, I mean, I wasn't going to play, you can't like take it on the go with you like you can now with a lot of stuff. So yeah, I didn't really have that much time to review period. And then I was, just kind of giving my first impressions when it came out. I think, at the time, a lot of the critiques were like, it doesn't start off as strong for me as past Bethesda RPGs.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Like
I don't
the
like the beginning. No.
hook is not as strong. I mean, Skyrim, one of the most legendary hooks of all time in gaming. Like you wake up, whoa, where am I? And you get,
A dragon shows up. Yeah, it's over. Yeah, you're about to get your head chopped off.
You're about to die.
Yep.
Yeah, like, and then you get dropped off. You're like, whoa, what just happened? I gotta do something.
Hey, I remember.
Yeah,
I gotta interrupt you. I remember Todd Howard said that there's a Skyrim Fallout coming out of the vault moment in Starfield, and I remember I loved Starfield when I played it, reviewed it, but I remember going, where was that moment? Don't tell me it was coming out of the cave, because that ain't it. But yeah,
for me, the closest thing that got to that point was what's that planet? I mean, it was weird because when I was playing Starfield, my favorite things were like not the the exciting like the gunplay or like these like crazy quests, but these small quiet moments. And I think the kind of rebranding of Starfield into being a cozy game is actually it's appropriate, because I remember going to this planet and being like, they were like, come on a tour with us to like see our installation. This is where we grow all of our plants. This is like where we like prepare like the fuel engine and like the jet engine fuel and blah 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 blah. And I remember walking around that planet and feeling like, I want to take pictures. Like I want to remember these like dull moments. Like those are my favorite in Starfield, which is so strange.
Yeah, people call that game boring, but they would not like what I love. And it's picking a planet that looks cool from the atmosphere, from outside the atmosphere, landing, watching my ship come down, slow walking through the cabin, opening the hatch, and walking out and looking around and seeing what this place is like, that I've discovered.
Yeah.
And I can do that a million times. And King Fan Manager in the channel, in the chat, he does this all the time. I swear, it's from the stuff he posts, sometimes he's just going around discovering new places, stepping foot on them to see what they're like, and getting a screenshot. Because if I land on a moon who is in close proximity to a giant ring gas giant, it will take my breath away when I look at this huge thing, because it's like really happening. It's actually it's orbiting, it's rotating.
Yeah.
With the dynamic cycle, it's but most people just tell you that is so boring.
That's when Starfield is at its best. And if we could have those moments mixed in, because I was really excited to go to Neon. I was like, oh, I can't wait to get to Neon, like this crime-ridden cyberpunk-esque place. And ultimately, I was like,
it's very tame.
Like Neon, but like, very tame. But then like exploring these like, those kind of moments that you were just talking about, Colt, I think is when Starfield is at its best. Those moments that you kind of you just experience on your own, like memories that are unique to you and experiences that are unique to you. Because I remember one of my favorite quests was obviously the Crimson Raider quest line, when you get captured and that whole thing. But then I go online and everyone's talking about that. And now I'm like, no, I kind of feel less special because I thought that was a unique thing that happened to me. But yeah, I would say, the rebranding into Starfield is a cozy game, I think, is
collectibles.
Really interesting. Like just like a game that you can wander around in.
Have your like little pet.
You kind of collect your own thing. Yeah.
You can collect those action figures, and you actually display them, and they do something like bobbleheads. They actually give you perks and stuff. This is amazing. Like I wasn't ready for Starfield. Like Red and I would tell you, Red Wolf has a channel with like 5,000 subscribers, but he does amazing Starfield content. We would tell you it does feel like a Starfield 2.0. Another game I got to ask you about is probably one of my favorite games ever made, and it's Fallout New Vegas. And I love this game so much. But TK Mantis did a interview with Chris Avallone. I don't know if you know who this is, who Chris Avallone is. Mm-hmm. He is like the lead director on Fallout New Vegas. He used to work for Obsidian. He's kind of famously been disgruntled about not being around Bethesda and Xbox and Obsidian or any of those studios anymore. I think he's an amazing talent. I love what he did with the game, but he's been very outspoken. I don't know if you've seen some of the things he said recently in that interview or heard any sound bites, or I don't know where you're at on that one, but you're
talking about them reusing assets from Fallout 3.
Yeah, basically.
In New Vegas. Yeah.
The quote is that Microsoft or that Bethesda could never remaster Fallout New Vegas because they are not technologically advanced to make it happen. And what he's talking about is they don't have the source code from Obsidian, and they tried to get it for the tune of $10,000 at one point. Obsidian didn't give them the source code. So everyone's like, what are you talking about? Because they recently just took Oblivion, draped Unreal Engine 5 over it, made it look amazing. It doesn't run very great, but it was a very successful port. Did you play it?
Hell yeah, I played that. That was like one of my. That was the original Oblivion is the first game I 100%ed.
Yeah.
In terms of my the achievements and the gamer score, that game had a chokehold on me and my buddy Matt, who was my best friend growing up, and we were just all about gaming at the time. That was the game that I remember. He called me over and he was like, "Dude, you got to see this." And he played me the opening cinematic of Oblivion, which, that's like the first time we really saw like HD gaming really taken to that level, which sounds crazy because Oblivion has become a meme of like Oblivion, like these NPCs look whack and it's kind of like, it's aged obviously since then, but hell yeah, when Oblivion Remaster came out, especially with the Shadow drop, especially on the Game Pass, that was like the Xbox system, the whole plan, the ecosystem, all of that operating to like the absolute maximum. Announcing play it immediately on Game Pass. Game Pass Ultimate was still $20. Like, it was awesome.
The good old days when Game Pass was $20. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, Oblivion Remaster was a big moment, and I played, 30 hours of it, and then Expedition came out. It was a mess. So much to do.
It was a huge month.
It was crazy.
Month as Expedition 33. I'm like, dude, what? And then Doom a couple weeks after that.
Yeah.
The Dark Ages. It was stacked. But yeah, it was some game breaking things, because I was talking to my friend who couldn't complete the main quest because of a memory. It wasn't a memory leak, but the NPC that she needed to talk to just wasn't in the game anymore. And she can't, because she's playing on console, she can't command them, she can't put in the console commands to bring him back. So it's either start the whole game over or just stop. It's right at the end with main core Cameron, when she has to talk to them.
Gosh.
Oh but it was a good ride up until that point. And it went super viral. Everyone was talking about it at the time.
Yeah, Bethesda's... You can drape Unreal Engine 5 over a buggy game, and it'll still be buggy 20 years later. Chris Avallone has been, I don't know, he just really doesn't like the old team he worked with. And Josh Sawyer and him were really a part of that magic that made Fallout New Vegas so great. But I just thought it was strange to say that Bethesda they're not technologically advanced enough to revive Fallout 3 when Virtual Studios did the remaster of Oblivion, but Starfield is orders of magnitude more advanced in every single way, mechanically, engine design, gameplay features. It has so much more going on than a simple game that's amazing like Fallout New Vegas from 2010. And so I kind of wonder, I'm like, is he just really reaching to be super negative about the team because he knows Obsidian works with Microsoft and they are partnered with Bethesda now. They can freely work together, and that source code.
I mean, yeah, Matt Booty was just talking about that on the Xbox official podcast, how the studios are more interconnected now, sharing tech than ever before. But I mean, you mentioned it earlier, right? Like Pete Hines seems very disgruntled about, looking back on his time at Bethesda, especially once the merger happened. And we started seeing signs of that, remember, from the Activision Blizzard deal when he was like, hey, what the hell's going on? You're saying that Activision gets to keep their stuff multi-platform, but Bethesda needs to do exclusive. Like, what's going on here? So I think there's like, I don't know if I'm not too familiar with the inner workings of Bethesda, but now we're seeing a couple of people now. They seem to be disgruntled with how certain things are handled at Bethesda, at least in their time. Things could be different now. Again, I don't really know, but we're seeing Chris and then Pete. Who else is who's going to be next? Because usually that's how these things come. Like, once
Tim Kaine has always been very gracious
and
positive about his former working, and now he's returned back to Obsidian for some project. But I'm going to read what King Fan Man said in the chat, and I 1000% agree with him. He said, sorry, Chris, New Vegas remaster is happening. As far as I know, as far as I've heard, Fallout 3 remaster is happening, and it will be followed by Fallout New Vegas. And if it's Unreal Engine 5 draped over the Gamebryo engine, as long as it's not broken, I will be there the moment I can get hands on it. So,
I came to the Fallout franchise pretty late.
Same.
I was an Elder Scrolls guy growing up when I was on the playground, like Cole was saying. Like the Elder Scrolls games,
oversized lollipop,
Fable, like those fantasy RPGs were my jam. And Fallout, I remember I messaged you on Discord when I was like, dude, I'm playing Fallout 3 for the first time. And that was maybe like 2 years ago, maybe a year and a half ago.
Oh, that late?
Are you serious,
yeah,
bro?
That's right.
You're like, are you serious, bro? I had played 4 when maybe a few years back, but I never played 3 and New Vegas. And then I was like, dude, these games still fucking slap. I'm sorry, I don't know if I can curse. But these games still slap, dude. Like 3, even though however old it is, this game still slaps. And I mean, I was shocked at the ending, right? And I mean, people experienced this years ago.
Oh, you're like,
I'm like, wait, it just ends. I'm like, wait.
I mean, you got to play it at 4K 60 on your Xbox. Like, it's unbelievable. Like PlayStation guys got to go on to PlayStation Now and stream it from an old PS3 in a server rack, all ponied together. But
dude,
it's amazing.
If I was they should have had Fallout New Vegas remastered ready to coincide with the airing of the second season of the TV show. Like they should have had something, because like that I don't know if like maybe they didn't think it would pop off in the way that it has, but like, dude, yeah, they definitely. I mean, still. Whenever they decide to come out with 3 and New Vegas remastered, people are going to show up and they're going to play it just like they did with Oblivion. But I think they definitely missed a big opportunity not to launch it and say, hey, you like the TV show? Go play the game. And by the way, it's, got that next gen, whatever they decide to do, put Unreal Engine 5 over it. But like, you could play it right now.
This would have been a
thing. Yeah.
This wouldn't have been a problem 10 years ago when games take, 18 months or 2 years to make, but they were going into the first year of the Fallout TV show and they had the 20-year anniversary for Oblivion. So that was already years in the making. And I think Todd and Bethesda and Obsidian all knew there was nothing they could do when it comes to timing with the TV show. At the best, they can hope the show does really well next year or whenever that comes out. That it does really well and that it can continue on until they can launch Fallout 3. I want to tell you really quick. I didn't get into Fallout till about 2009, maybe 2010, before New Vegas was about to come out. I think I saw the trailer for New Vegas. I'm like, everyone talked about that game, and I never played the originals. I knew nothing about them. And I saw that trailer for Fallout New Vegas with the Spurs at Jingle Jangle song. And I was like, there's something so cool about that I really want to give this a shot. It was like, I'm not like you, Ray, but I don't watch anime. It was almost like that moment where I'm like, that anime looks so cool, I'm going to actually watch it. Or that anime game looks so cool, I'm going to actually play it. Because I typically wouldn't look at a game like Fallout. So anyway, I'll speak to the best part of the story. It was my coworker would talk my ear off about Fallout 3. So I went and got Fallout 3, got to Megaton, which takes, 4 or 5 hours, picked a lock in front of Colin Moriarty, which is that his name? Is that his name in the game? Pretty sure. The bartender owner in the Megaton bar I think that's his full name. Because I always thought the guy in IGN was just using a pseudonym or whatever you call it. But anyway, I picked a lock in front of him and everyone pulls their guns on me and I die. Load die. I'm not playing this anymore. And then once New Vegas came out, I'm like, okay, I'm going to play that. So I never went back to Fallout 3 until I finished New Vegas. But anyway, that's where I got that from.
Yeah, that whole Megaton is really where it kind of that's where the game really hits its stride.
Yeah,
for sure.
Yeah. And super duper Mart.
And just having the bomb right there in the middle, and you're like, dude, what is this? Like, it just generates so much interest within the world, and God, it slaps. Like, you can jump into it now, years later, and you still have a really awesome experience, especially with those next gen upgrades that you were talking about.
I'm gonna look up the bartender's name because I'm pretty sure he has the same name.
Yeah, Moriarty Saloon, right?
Yeah,
is his first name Colin? That's
what I'm gonna look up here. Well, I know Gob. Yeah, it's Colin Moriarty. Yeah, it's just, I think the only difference is Colin from Sacred Symbols has an E before his name, E before the Y. But yeah, I remember when IGN has always been so huge. I always thought he was just using a nickname. Oh, I just used the name from the guy from Fallout 3. I had no idea. Yeah, they said we just told you. Read the chat. I'm sorry. Here, I'll read the chat. I don't see it. I don't believe you. But anyway, yeah, New Vegas is Impossible is going to be funny. I mean, he doesn't know. I mean, maybe he doesn't have any connections to anybody at Bethesda anymore. That whole team could be completely different. Why would he talk to anybody there? But as far as we would think, he's going to be proven wrong in like 4 years when Fallout New Vegas gets its remaster, and maybe he'll say, "Well, I told you it couldn't run." But I don't know. Going on the theme of ex-employees who always have something to say when it goes against something Xbox is working on. Shawn Layden was in a thread on LinkedIn talking about video gaming. You saw this?
Yeah.
And let me grab the actual quote. I don't always throw this stuff in my notes because I don't think I'm going to read it word for word. But Shawn Layden said there was an article written about, or an article posted in LinkedIn. Shawn Layden said, they're trying so hard to will this into health. Despite unfavorable diagnostics and a grim prognosis, a clarifying post-mortem would do the entire industry some good. When he says clarifying post-mortem, I think he's trying to figure out when they're going to kill it off. Asha Sharma replied to him. Before I say that, I want to tell you that Game Pass, the only unfavorable diagnostics or health problems that Game Pass has is that it is not growing in subscribers. And now I can't tell you why, but I'll tell you this: to the best of my guesstimation, Game Pass makes a ton of money, even with people who have stopped subscribing or refused to grow into Game Pass. Where let's say it's at 32 million. It's basically been sitting stagnant for 2 years and does not grow beyond the 2 million mark. Let's just assume that. I can tell you with utmost confidence that Game Pass continues to crank in a shiz ton of money, and that Xbox probably looks at it and says, so what if we're not gaining subs? The retention subs are making us a ton of money. It's been reported that Game Pass I'm speaking to you, Shawn Layden. I've always liked Shawn Layden. I'm not trying to talk down to this guy. I think he's amazing. I'd love for him to come work at Xbox and use his amazing talent to help drive them forward. But I'll tell you this, Shawn. Game Pass makes $5 billion per year in revenue, clearing about $1 billion per year in straight profit. And if Xbox is like, we're not growing it, but it's a really great I mean, imagine Ray having a video that just continually in the background gets really good views, but you put new stuff out and it doesn't do as well as that one. But every month your revenue is the same because that older video just continues to crank and crank as people chew on it. Yeah. Right. And you and I think of things when we talk about business. I don't run a business other than my YouTube channel. I often think of putting out content and waiting for it to give me a return on the time I spent making it. Asha Sharma said to Shawn, I would love to chat sometime. And this is on LinkedIn, on a public LinkedIn post. And people are like, sounds like an AI response. So Ray, what are your thoughts on this, this news beat here?
I mean, I thought the Asha response was, I mean, that's honestly, I thought that was cool, man. Like, I thought that because I feel like under the old guard, like Phil was the chill guy. Phil was like, hey, I want everyone to like get along and be happy when everyone plays, we all win kind of thing. And, you know, I think the Asha response specifically could be interpreted in two types of ways. You know, she's kind of getting in there to correct some misinformation and say, you know, a lot of what Colt was just saying, like, here are the numbers. Or, you know, because she's also been very public about, like, I'm still learning. So, like, you know, I have a lot to learn. I'm having conversations with, you know, all these people, blah, 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 blah. So it could be maybe a bit of both. Like, here are the numbers, but like, I genuinely want to know what you think given your contributions to the industry. But the fact that she's getting active like that is cool to see, like to putting herself out there, especially on a public forum, like you're saying. That's cool because she could have easily just been like, I'm gonna be more behind the scenes because I'm not really a gamer, like I don't come from game development. And over the past few weeks especially, we really see her getting after and, like, you know, making some moves for real. So I thought that was cool. In terms of Shawn, I mean, it's no secret that this dude hates Games Pass. Like, he is always talking about Game Pass and never once has said anything positive about it. So I don't think this is necessarily surprising, but
what's the difference, Ray? He helped usher in PlayStation Premium and or at least PlayStation Plus. He was helping like bring that along, and the real difference is they don't put their own games on PlayStation Plus, but they're trying to bring all these competitive games in.
It's another Xbox is dead storyline. It's just packaged in a different way, right? It's just, instead of Xbox consoles are dead, it's okay, when is Xbox going to give up on Game Pass? And that is like, that's clicks right there. That's engagement. But in terms of, like, I think, not saying that Game Pass is totally perfect and that Xbox has figured out its final form, especially after those price increases. And I don't even think Asha thinks that, because she's out here in these memos saying that it's too expensive and we got to rethink, you know, how to make it more flexible, more appealing to more people. So it's definitely needs some work, but I think you got to let the consumers kind of speak for what you should do, right? Like, a lot of people are subscribed to Game Pass even still. And I think you got to figure out a way to make it work for those people that supported the vision. I don't know what that means, because we know that they're having a hell of a time trying to figure out what to do with Call of Duty and Game Pass, right? The model just doesn't, like, that yearly release model just doesn't really work, you know, when you put it day one onto a subscription service. So I don't know, like, if, you know, I definitely think that they're rethinking the Blizzard, that Call of Duty, Activision stuff when it comes to at least like the day one model. But at the same time, I feel like everyone, the question should be, can these two models coexist for Xbox at the same time? Like, can they still get a lot of game sales while also having Game Pass running and making that revenue churning, like you say? And sometimes it works, you know, like we were just talking about with Oblivion Remaster. Launch day one of the Game Pass, it was like the best-selling game of like that entire quarter, not just for Xbox but for all platforms, on PlayStation, on Steam, everywhere. So its inclusion in Game Pass didn't really, you know, maybe they could have made more money off of it if it wasn't on there, but still were able to generate a ton of sales. That's not the case for every game, right?
Right.
What we're hearing about Doom: The Dark Ages and a lot of these other kind of smaller games coming out from Xbox Game Studio. So how can they, how can they have the best of the both worlds here? How can they
Yeah.
continue churning it but also generating sales? And unfortunately, that kind of led them to the multi-platform stuff. I assume they were like, okay, we gotta, recoup our sales, even if we have to go on over to PlayStation. So,
Yeah, I didn't
things
bother to
on the
do the
table.
math. But let me look. Like 300 million divided by 70. Oh my gosh. I was going to assume, well, yeah,
Oh
okay,
my
that's good.
God.
That's good. I'm glad I did that. I was going to assume that Game Pass subscribers don't really play Call of Duty and they're losing that money for no reason, because if they say they lose $300 million a year being on Game Pass, that only means 4.2 million of the 32 million subscribers are playing it on Game Pass instead of buying it because they lost sales. 4.2 million is not very much when you look at 32 million. What is that? An eighth of the subscribers are just leeching Call of Duty off of Game Pass. And speaking of leeching the energy that you need, thanks to our sponsor 4XP, who makes delicious, delectable, tasty, and energizing powder. I don't know if you've heard about 4XP, Ray, but they sponsored the show. And if you go to their website, you can get free shipping on an order over $50. And if they're still doing that, I hope they are. Mag usually does the promos, but he's out on an emergency today. But they have watermelon, blue raspberry, and white gummy. White gummy is like one of the fan favorites. Tastes like gummy bears, but it doesn't. But it does. But it doesn't. But it's amazing. And you've got this powder, Ray. You mix it in with your water, your ice water, and it's got low calories, got a little bit of caffeine, like half of what a Mountain Dew does. So it's just enough for someone who likes to sit and play games and they're not crazy and like roiding out. They're amazing. Check out 4XP. The link is in the description. They're sponsoring the show, and they're amazing guys. We played That Blue Number and I played Toxic Commander by John Carpenter with them, and they're hilarious. They know how to make great drinks, and they're an awesome sponsor. I want to talk about this Call of Duty thing. Guys, go check out 4XP. I can literally inhale the powder as we were making the drinks at the Gamer Expo. That's awesome. They're super cool. Game Pass with Call of Duty.
Well, you know what, Colt, is another thing that we're not considering here is this is another thing that I was observing at GDC is, they were talking a lot about Xbox Play Anywhere, and they were looking at the numbers, and they were seeing that the people who buy Xbox Play Anywhere games are the types of customers they make more money off of, essentially. Like they spend more money in the Xbox ecosystem. And I wonder kind of if they're seeing similar numbers with people who are Game Pass subscribers. Like, are those, maybe they're not buying a ton of games every year, but when they do, they're engaging more, they're spending more within any game that they choose to interact with. I think that's another angle that Xbox is definitely going to consider too, like the value of each customer, whether they're a Game Pass subscriber or they're a casual enjoyer, or they buy Play Anywhere games or they don't. That's all numbers that I'm sure Asha is getting fed every morning.
Sure.
But I think that's something that they're definitely considering too.
Yeah, because if you've got someone who's just, hey, I've been subscribed to Game Pass since forever, and they just sit there and they just let it debit out of their account, like they love that. That's a really good customer. That person can make up for the people who are like, oh, I subscribed for a while, I unsub because I don't like the price hike, or I unsub because the games haven't been that good, or I just like owning my games. There was a post today from a games journalist that said, does Game Pass need to be saved? A lot of people are super concerned about what's happening with Game Pass, but this guy says, I've had my Series X for 5 years, and I stopped subscribing to Game Pass and realized I own 0 games. Now, I'm sure that Microsoft wanted people to like eventually just buy a console and just consume Game Pass only, but I don't think that's the reality of hardly anyone in this world.
That's not on them though. I mean, like, I buy games. I've been an Xbox Game Pass subscriber. Like, I don't I don't know. I just don't understand that. Like, that's on you. If you decided to buy no games, especially like if they offered the discount if you want to buy the game that you're playing through Game Pass.
10 to
And they'll
20%.
even send you an alert like this game is about to leave, so why don't you buy it for what is it, 15% off? 15, 20% off.
Yeah, it
Sometimes it's
goes.
even
Yeah,
bigger
changes.
discount.
Yeah.
Like, and sometimes it's even bigger. Like, if you I mean, I don't know this guy who says like, "Oh man, like suddenly I don't own any games now that my subscription's not active." But like, that's on you. That's on
I
you,
mean, this
bro.
guy spent $1,500 over 5 years, maybe less. I don't know, but let's say he spent $1,500 for 5 years, and he played probably 300 games. And he's like, I own nothing. I'm like, dude, I own 1,000 games on my Xbox console, and I love owning some of those. I can always dip back, but 90% of that library, I'll never reinstall that game again. I guess I could say I own it,
Yeah.
but collecting digital games is kind of like, yay. And I don't want to excuse it because I can imagine the guy's like, I don't own anything. And I'm like, yeah, but you did play like hundreds of amazing games.
But they
Like
never told
on the
him
dollar,
that
right?
he did. Like, they never said that if you subscribe to Game Pass and you play them, you own the game. Like, that's
Right.
nowhere in the marketing or advertising or nothing. And it'd be the same thing if I was like, I canceled my Netflix subscription, and I realized I didn't have any movies to watch. What the hell was I doing?
I watched Stranger Things
No.
5 times and I own none of the episodes. Yeah.
Like, this is no, like that's not. I don't think that's on. I don't think that's on Game Pass. I don't think that's on Phil or Xbox or no one. I think that's on that guy.
Oh, I mean, I'm thinking what he's saying is I've come to the realization that because I chose to play this way, now I don't own any games and I don't want to subscribe to Game Pass anymore. I think they need to fix a way. Jacking the price up 50% was really awful. And it was a major turning point where Mag, my co-host, unsubscribed. Like, he let it run out once like that next big game came out, and he hasn't been back. I think he came back recently when the big games came in. But I've been telling people, maybe you should just buy the games. Like, if Outer Worlds 2 looks good, just buy it for $70 and then, just do the math. Like, every month you should be thinking, should I do the math? I pay $30 a month on a debit for my son because he plays a lot of stuff and he's online more than anybody else in my family amongst kids. But yeah, I think they need to do something to fix it because I think Game Pass is too expensive. I think they will.
Yeah,
I think they really will. Is there anything else you'd want them to fix to save it?
I don't know. I think the questions that people need to be asking themselves is, should I subscribe to Game Pass or should I not? Is number one, do you have the time? And number two, are you interested in playing multiple games? If you're just subscribing to play one game, no, that's not what Game Pass is about. Like, do you envision playing multiple titles from multiple genres? Where Game Pass really shines for me is discoverability, right? Like, giving games a chance that I normally wouldn't give a chance. Some of these smaller games, platformers that traditionally I'm not really into. And so if you're the kind of gamer to kind of, dink and dunk, play multiple titles, and also, like you say, do the math, right? Game Pass Ultimate's $30 a month, so $360 a year. If you're looking at the year, right?
Yeah.
That if that's how many. If a game is $70 full price, are you gonna play that many new games to essentially justify your subscription, right?
Yeah.
And if you go over that limit, maybe it's still worth it for you. I don't know, but you have to have the time and you have to have the willingness to try certain things. And that threshold used to be a lot lower, right? Even at $20 a month, $240 a year, I play 3 new games and I'm like almost there. And months like April 2025, like we were talking about, when Oblivion Remaster, Expedition 33, South of Midnight was coming out during that time, all of that, like I was like, yeah, like I've already gotten my 240 worth just in these couple months. So I think what people are hungry for is that, and what people are pissed about is that they were perfectly happy paying for the $20 a month for Ultimate, Day One, whatever. But then Xbox added all of these other things and we're like, it's $30 now. And there's a huge swath of people who are like, well, I don't give a damn about Call of Duty. I don't give a damn about Fortnite Crew and all these other things that you're adding. So like,
Right.
why do I have to front the cost of this price increase, right? So either rethink adding new Call of Duties day one on there, or, and this is kind of getting in the weeds because there's so many tiers of Game Pass already. It's like you don't want to do too much and confuse people even more. But like, and some other people have been pitching this for a while, but like pick your own kind of subscription, build your own
Yeah.
subscription. Like this is the thing that I want, and then kind of have it personally tailored to you. Probably not going to happen considering like they want to clear up the messaging and just make it very straightforward. But that's a cool idea that I've seen floating around.
Yeah, nobody does that because if you could pick everything you want, you'd have a really cheap option, and no corporation wants you to be allowed to do that. Has any subscription service ever lowered the price as they've gone on? Because I feel like Netflix and Disney Plus and Amazon and YouTube Premium and Spotify, they just tack $1 on like every 6 months or every year. Has this ever happened before? Is this possible?
Not that I can think of. And the only time I can think of Xbox doing anything similar is when they said Outer Worlds is going to be $80. Oh, just kidding.
Right.
No, it's going to be $70.
Yeah, they got scared.
But that was before the game released. So yeah, we really haven't seen. But I mean, that would definitely be a splash, and Asha would win a lot of people over if she said, you know what? Game Pass Ultimate, $30. Everyone hated it. Bam, lower the price. Like that would really that would buy her a lot of goodwill, not just amongst the fans, but fans of gaming in general, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, that would be really cool. All right, let me see if I've got a couple more questions here. Grandpa's Barbecue Game Cat, thanks to Australian 5, says Xbox Game Pass has to be successful with the hybrid box. Xbox exclusive games come out on PC and Xbox. What are you buying on Steam or Xbox? Game Pass is essential. I mean, that's a question we've kicked around. Like, why is Steam on the box? Which it's great, but won't that just harm them in the end if people could buy their games on Steam instead of the Xbox storefront? I don't know.
I think the one advantage that Project Helix is definitely appealing for legacy dudes like us who have a big digital library of Xbox games. Because sure, you can build a PC, and I think we've talked about this before, Colt, on another podcast, but you can build a PC and have access to most of Xbox's games.
Yep.
But there are some gaps in the catalog that pop up every now and then. A couple of Gears titles.
Halo 5.
Like, available on PC. You're like, wait, what? So like the fact that Project Helix is going to support your entire, going by their words for right now, so I'm gonna go off that, your entire existing Xbox library. That's one advantage that you would have versus building your own PC and basically starting over.
Yeah,
I will say that this would have been cool, super cool to me back in the Xbox One days for a specific game. I had an Xbox One. I didn't have a PC. I didn't have anything like that. And that's when Rust was really popping off. Rust, the survival game.
Yeah.
And I was seeing all these streamers play it. I was seeing all these videos about it. I'm like, dude, that game looks awesome. And this was before like those survival games were really popping up. Like everyone was making one. And I was like, oh, I really want to play it, but it's only on Steam, it's only on PC. Like, if only there was a way to like play this on my Xbox. So I think like I try to put myself in that position, because there was a time, like now I'm in a point in my life where I can have, an Xbox, a PlayStation, a gaming PC, multiple consoles to play whatever game that I really want. But at one point in my life, that was just, no, that was not possible. So
I remember
having this box where I could play my Xbox games, and then if I see something that's really, really cool, but it's only available on Steam, Peak is super popular right now. Like all these friendship slop games, like you can go in and jump in on that too.
Never heard that before.
To, like, friendship slop.
Never heard it before.
It's it's like these cheap games on Steam from these indie developers that like are just meant like you just meant to play with your friends.
Okay.
Like, and there's like Peak, you know, the one where everyone's climbing.
Okay. Oh, that's that one. Okay.
Yeah. So so Peak is like $5, but like it has proximity chat, so you get on with your friends and you just like climb the mountain and joke around and have a good time. So like anything that pops up on Steam that might catches your interest that you're currently locked out of because you're just an Xbox console owner, like that's cool. Like having all of these games in one place. Uh, I like that vision. How that's good for a consumer from Xbox as a business. They have to figure out how can we get people to buy into our ecosystem, buy through the Microsoft Store
Right.
versus Steam. I'm gonna let them figure that out. But for me, like as a customer, I'm like, that's cool.
I'm not concerned about if Xbox is going to lose money on the Steam storefront. They're doing it for a reason. I think one of the reasons that people probably won't believe, Ray, is that the Xbox Helix will appeal to anyone who's remotely interested in a pre-built PC or a not so much a pre-built PC, but buying a pre-built PC, an entry-level one, or getting the Steam machine. The Steam machine is not really upgradable. Some people who might like get into PC gaming via a pre-built, maybe they don't want to crack open the plexi or the glass and modify it. I don't like doing that stuff. But if you're going to have Steam on there, the point I'm trying to make is Project Helix could have a pretty nice appeal for a chunk of the PC market who is like, this is going to be my PC because it'll have all of their PC games. And then if they want to say, I never got to play Halo 5 and it would be on there at 4K 60, it'd be amazing. Yeah, I don't know. I think people don't quite understand how it's going to work. It's kind of unorthodox. Even Steam doesn't even know how much their device is going to be at this point.
Well, I think, yeah, that's another thing too. Like, what's the price of this thing, right? Because all this sounds good. Like, I get to play pretty much any game that I want, whether it's from Xbox or on Steam or through Epic or any of these other launchers. But like, what's this thing going to cost, man? That's going to be the deciding factor. But as you like, pre-builts can get pretty expensive nowadays too.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah,
and we see a lot of people who are interested in dropping the money on that. But there's the Xbox tax, there's the Xbox bias, like they have to fight against all of this. And I think that's what Asha is really she's in a really good position to kind of clear that up before the launch of Project Helix because her background is in marketing. So like once she keys in to what players want, and she does her like education about the industry and the Xbox fan base, I really feel like she can cook up something killer to get people excited about Project Helix, especially in this age where they're going head to head with Valve, right? Because they're doing a lot of the same stuff. They got the console that plays PC games, they got the handheld, they got their own ecosystem, complete with hardware. So, yeah, it's going to come down to messaging and price for sure.
Yeah, Sathya says that Ray sounds like Howard Stern. You ever got that one before?
What? I've not got that one before. In the early days of Xbox Ready, I got Jeff Goldblum a lot.
Oh, okay.
I'd wear glasses and like kind of, yeah. But Howard Stern, no, I've not got that.
Back in his heyday, people used to always say, this guy sounds like Review Tech USA. Yeah, I used to get that quite a bit too. And sometimes I'd hear his videos and go, yeah, he kind of sounds like me. But
is that me?
Yeah, he doesn't do as much stuff anymore. But yeah, I used to really like his stuff. Andy Ackerman, thanks for the 5. Says half of the hip hop duel, Lil Ray and Jimmy Champagne, both good guys. Jimmy Champagne is hilarious too. I always like meeting up with you guys at the events. You guys, I'm like Jimmy every time I see him. Every time I just go Jimmy.
He's coming through the summer.
Yeah, I can't wait.
It's just because it was I did my first days of play last year for Summer Games Fest, and so I got an invite and I was able to for this year, and I was able to get Jimmy in on it too. So I've been trying to get him out back to LA. That's where we met. He used to live here.
Oh yeah, where did he move? He moved way out. Well, yeah,
Michigan. That's where he's from.
Okay.
So he moved closer to his family after he got married. Yeah. But he's coming back. I always text him whenever we used to go to events. I'd say, Jimmy and Ray, back at it again, baby. And so once I'm like, book your flight. We had like do whatever you need to do. But like we got you a ticket to some SGF. We got you in the Days of Play. So like Jimmy and Ray, back at it again, baby.
Yeah, Mag and I will see both of you guys there. We're planning on that as well. A whole bunch of 4XP Gaming, the awesome guys. Thank you so much for the $5 and the support. It said, do you think Asha Sharma at this point is behind, ahead, or right where she should be in her role as the head of Xbox? I want to take this one first. I think she's kind of ahead, honestly. It seemed like, as much we all loved Phil, but it seemed like there were things that he kind of had to shy away from that were really not talky subjects, or, I have nothing more to say about this, or maybe my boss has some other ideas and I can't really say anything else. I don't know. I felt like that. But Asha, when you were talking, Ray, I wanted to say, it seems like Asha came in and said, what do people really not like about Xbox? Let's take care of that right now. Where do you think she is as far as behind, ahead, or at the right place?
Dude, I think I was talking to Paris about this the other day. And he was like, dude, I think Phil was just like so worn out. I think he was just tired. I think he was just ready to ride off in the sunset.
Why is that?
Time. And so I think like it became like with everything, like when you're in that kind of position, everyone looks to you to fix everything, and all the blame also falls on you as well.
Yeah.
But like I think like at a certain point he was just like, I think for his health, I'm glad that he stepped back. But for Asha, it's just right now, I don't know if she's behind a head or right where she needs to be, but I think she is saying all the right things. Like everything that we're hearing is addressing something that Xbox fans have been concerned about at some point over the past 4 or 5 years. The price of Game Pass, is Xbox do they still care about consoles? And
are they sunsetting the Xbox?
Like, can you imagine hearing Phil saying Game Pass is too expensive? You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And here we have Asha, freely talking about these things, not just the things that are good about Xbox, but like, guys, we need to seriously take a look at where we're at, look in the mirror, and go from there, and ask ourselves some hard, honest questions. And that's kind of what the sense that we were getting in her first interview, where she was like, I think the quote is, Xbox was brought back, and like this team has brought back Xbox before, and we can do it again or something. She's acknowledging that they're not quite where they want to be, which is something that we never really heard from the old guard. It was kind of like all smoke and mirrors, like, no, everything's great, like we're going in this new direction of like everything's an Xbox and like blah 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 blah, like everything's awesome, everything's all peachy. So hearing Asha even acknowledge that, nah, that's not the case, that's refreshing. And so maybe that puts her in the tier of like where she needs to be, because she came in and she's saying the right things, but we haven't seen too much concrete. Like she's saying that Game Pass is expensive, but we're not seeing price reductions yet. Maybe that'll come in the next couple months. But I would say if I had to put a label on it, right where she needs to be.
Okay. All right. Let's see. We got 2 member chats, one from Yodani, one from Hargeet. Yodani says, look the other way if you're see me freebasing 4XP in Los Angeles around FanFest time. Hopefully, Yodani, hopefully you can make it out. At least if you can come out and hang out with us, it'd be awesome. Hargeet Johnny, thanks for the 57 months, says, Game Pass Premium to $20 all day in dates included. Call of Duty, EA, Ubisoft Classics, no cloud, no perks. He's saying that's what they should do. Drop it down. Get rid of cloud, but keep everything else. Add a separate cloud access only sub. Bring your own G. Bring your own gooners. I think that means. Ultimate stays as it is, $30. That's a very bold prediction there, Hargeet Johnny, but we'll have to see what happens in the next couple months or whatever happens. I want to talk to you about, I was going to bring up one of the newest things that Xbox is hiring a brand reputation manager, but I feel like the whole show, we basically said all that. So if you want to hear what we think about Xbox hiring a brand manager, I think Ray and I have covered it pretty well, because it's kind of like, what should they be doing? How should they, I'll just say one thing, and maybe I'll give you one as well, because I want to go to the next thing, is that they need to fix the reputation of Xbox. And if I had a chance to talk to somebody high up at Xbox, I'd tell them it's a hard thing to hear, but the general zeitgeist in the games industry and community and the games media mocks Xbox and doesn't give them the respect, and they need to earn it. And I've talked about many things they need to change. What would a brand reputation manager need to do right away for you, Ray? Well, not for you. You don't need a brand reputation manager, but for Xbox. Well, maybe you do. You've been kind of
no. I could use a manager. I'm in the market for a manager. No, I would say, like, dude, like, going back to what we were talking about at the very beginning of this podcast and my introduction to Xbox, I bought into Xbox because that was cool. Like, I swear to God, Xbox was cool. It had like an edge to it at a certain point.
Yeah.
And that, like, it had this feeling that if I didn't have an Xbox, I was missing out on something and I was a loser. So, like, I'm not saying they could swing all the way back to whatever, like 2006 or 7, but I'm saying, like, they got to be asking themselves, how can they make Xbox cool again? You know, and it's not like this, oh, like, what, everything's hunky dory, singing Kumbaya because everyone's playing together, and you know, there's we'll meet the gamers where they are. Like, they need to make a choice, right? They need to make a choice on who they want to appeal to, and that has been kind of up in the air, especially because I feel like everyone is kind of paranoid because everyone wants to capture the younger generation's attention and money when it comes to gaming, and that is obviously very different from
what the heck are they playing, Ray?
That's different from the sensibilities of their core fans, right? Who have supported them through these console generations. So, like, they really got to make a choice on which direction they want to lean, at least for now, because, like, return to Xbox, that signals to me certain things, and I think they've been casting. I can see why they've been doing it, trying to cast a broader net, appeal to more people, especially as their game studios have gotten more diverse, because it's not just Halo, Gears, and Forza anymore. It's all sorts of stuff.
It's like 30 IP.
Yeah, and they really got to, like, narrow down what, like, their messaging is, their branding is, somehow make it cool and, like, something that you're missing out on if you're not participating in.
I don't like the cutesy, like, their shorts are, this is going to be offensive to, I know some of the people that work in this department, but some of their shorts and TikToks and some of their messaging is like, hey, we're safe and clean for everyone. And, like, some of the stuff's kind of corny and cheesy. They do need a little bit of an edge. I saw an old tweet brought up from probably 10, 12 years ago that said, can you imagine 5 people teabagging you at once? And it was in response to something in Halo. And then they had to follow it up by saying, in a video game, of course. And I thought, let it ride. Like, let's have some fun. Yeah. Like,
like, Xbox used to be, like, when you thought about Xbox, you're thinking of, like, Gears, where you take a freaking gun with a chainsaw and cut someone in half. Halo, which was badass. Forza, which was, like, all these badass cars. Like, where is that? And I think maybe, like, we can get to
that controller
point,
ain't it, Ray.
Yeah. Huh?
That controller ain't it today.
You still hung up about that. You're still thinking about that 2 hours
later. You
later.
needed something more gritty, like, you know, I want some tire tread on it, maybe some oil stains. Come on, no. But yeah. Well, my friend Game Seeker's in the chat. He's a gooner extraordinaire.
Anime chicks on there.
Anime chicks.
Put some straight up jiggle physics up on there, and then watch that thing sell like hotcakes.
Yeah, they should have put the butt plate on the back like the Wolverine, and that was famous. That was a cool moment for Xbox. But Game Seeker said that it looked like a Saved by the Bell controller, which was I thought that was pretty good.
Oh my god, yeah. not a good start to the gritty Xbox rebrand if that's what they were trying to do.
Yeah, I don't know if that's what they're going for, but all right, I want to talk about. I've got a list of games, and I want to get your take on these. If you didn't get a chance, guys, I put out a video where I showed all these trailers, mostly just the gameplay. I let some of the gameplay play, and I broke down. I looked up every single one of these 14 games, and I got all the information about why they're supposed to be 2026, but we don't know where the release date is. And so I thought I'd run you by them because these are pretty big games that we're supposed to like try and fit in and around Grand Theft Auto 6. So I'm going to start, and I'll name one off and we'll talk about it. The first one is Capcom, who has had an amazing year. They've already had Resident Evil 9, and then Pragmata ended up being an absolute banger of a brand new IP. It's selling well, it's scored well, but they also have Onimusha Way of the Sword. Do you remember this trailer in this game?
Yeah, dude, that was it's been radio silence on the team because I went and I was with Cog and we sat on a gameplay preview for that, and it looked
cool,
awesome. And it was like this. We didn't get to play anything, but they showed it was like a presentation. And then they followed up with me. They were like, "Hey, thanks for coming by. So like, here's Onimusha 2." And they gave me the code for that, and I was like, "Cool." Heard nothing since. Like, heard nothing about it since. No follow-ups, no nothing from the PR team. Nothing about the release.
What was the
date.
code for?
What happened to this game?
Is the code for the full game when it comes out, or for a preview build?
No. It was an older game.
Okay.
It was I think the second one.
Okay.
Let's see. Yeah. So they just gave me like.
Yeah. Thank you, Demon Killer. Appreciate it.
It was Onimusha 2, and so they gave me a code. They were like, "Hey, yeah, here's something to hold you over while you wait for the Way of the Sword," and then like that hasn't like nothing's happened. And the preview was actually sick. I remember like people were, oh my god, it was a fun group. People were like, just some of the things that they were showing off in the mechanics. People were like, "Whoa."
Yeah, it looks so good.
Where'd it go? Where'd it go?
The latest I have on it was that it was shown at Tokyo Game Show and Summer Games Fest last year, and the only thing they've said is 2026. They said they don't have a quarter or anything. The other one, this is a pretty easy one. Metro 2039 just got announced on Xbox's partner preview showcase, and they had the PlayStation logo on there, and everyone was like, "What the crap?" Even me, I'm like, "What are you doing? Why are you doing this? This is your event." And but they're saying coming this winter. So when are you expecting Metro 2039? Or are you a fan? Do you care?
I've only played that first game, and it was a banger. Obviously.
Like way back, first game, like 2030.
It was like 2010. Yeah. 2033.
Whatever it's called, 2032.
Yeah, that was a banger. I fell off.
You need to play Exodus.
So
you need to play Exodus. Is like it gives you a little bit of the Fallout stuff, and then the DLC is really great. It's got wide open areas, but yeah.
I mean, so when are you expecting this confident in it? They must be pretty confident if they're doing a whole. It's not Xbox Direct, but it was like presented by Xbox, or what was the official?
I thought it was like a partner thing. I don't remember. It
was like direct. Like it says it on the console every time you boot it up. It's like Xbox Direct, not Developer Direct. Something. Xbox presents Metro.
Xbox presents PlayStation games. That's what it's called.
So yeah, that's crazy because that PlayStation's not doing that. Like when they had the marketing rights for Hogwarts Legacy, there was nothing about like, oh, this game's also coming out on the Series. Like no, it was just.
Can I ask you? Is it okay to point that out? Because people really think that it's, pitching a fit that Xbox puts those on there and no one else does. Like, is that your opinion on it? That they shouldn't?
I mean, I don't think we need to pretend anymore. Like, we know that FH6 is coming to PlayStation.
Right.
We know that Fable's coming to PlayStation. Like, it's not like a secret anymore. But at the same time, like, yeah, if it's if you're gonna open up with the Xbox logo, that same boot up sound, it's got to be like, can we just have like 2 minutes where we don't think about like we just think about the Xbox stuff, right? Like,
Give him a
can we
minute
just
for
have,
pity's
like, 2 minutes
sake.
for this trailer? God damn, like. And then when it comes out for the general trailers and all that, like sure, play like these are the platforms it's coming out on.
Well, I mean,
But yeah, just for a moment,
yeah,
just to focus
they're
on the Xbox side.
the Xbox YouTube channel trailer only had Xbox PC, and whatever. It didn't have PlayStation, but on the showcase it did. And I mean, it's not about stop mentioning PlayStation. I had a friend who say whenever I hear PlayStation, he's like, it would trigger me, it'd make me mad. I'm like, yeah, that's kind of a problem. PlayStation. It's not about that. I would tell someone at Xbox if I could, it's about your ecosystem, your storefront should be priority number one. I said this last week, but I'm just saying it in front of you. It's not about stop showing the PlayStation logo in front of Xbox fans. It's not what it's about. It's about, gosh dang, it's your store. Like, you should want everybody to buy your game from you. You showed it. I won't say it again. I've already said it in a video as well. Next game. Atomic Heart 2. Okay, Atomic Heart 1 was kind of good. It kind of fell apart sometimes, but I enjoyed it. Glad I played it. The Atomic Heart 2 trailer, I watched it again before I made this video. Bro, I don't know when the last time you saw it, but oh my gosh, it's really, really cool. What do you think about that one? That one was supposed to be 2026.
I could wait on this game. Honestly, I bought into the hype for that first trailer and I was like, whoa, this is awesome. And then, when I ended up playing it, I was like, this is a fine game. I bought into the trailer hype and then was ultimately like, eh. So if they need to delay it out of 2027 and what's really pissing me off is this black hole that GTA 6 is creating. Like, I'm excited for that game, just like everyone else in the world. But like, I'm tired of the entire industry being like, we can't release the game, like, because we got to be careful because
we have a 2-month birth
at the same time. I'm like, damn. And then that's assuming that it's still going to come out then, which I'm, and
I think it
delayed,
will,
then we
but
have to do the whole song and dance again in 2027.
It sucks that
like, we can't release.
Yeah, and it sucks that October through December we only have access to one game because hardly anybody's going to release their game around the what do you call it, the event horizon of Grand Theft Auto 6. I liked Atomic Heart a little more than you did. It annoyed the heck out of me, but this new trailer looks awesome. I just think a lot of these games, they're just going to choose to delay because Grand Theft Auto is just an unstoppable force. The next one is Star Wars Galactic Racers. Didn't they promise this one in 2026, didn't they? What?
Yeah. Was that did we see that at the Game Awards, right?
Yeah, in December.
Yeah.
And then they said, 2026. I mean, still early. What's your hype meter on this thing?
I mean,
since you were 1 year old when the first movie came out.
Hey, I remember seeing the prequel trilogy in theaters. I remember seeing Anakin pod racing
when you were still in diapers
with my dad. Man, nah. I feel like a lot of people who I had a Nintendo 64 and I would play the pod racing game that they had on there, and that was one of the last games I claimed with games with gold. So I was like, hell yeah,
a bygone era.
That was like one of the, like, when it was in its death throes, they threw that out there. I was like, yes, I need this. So hype meter, I mean, I would say like, not like insanely hype, but like I'll definitely jump in, especially for that, like those classic characters that I remember in that. I know it's not like a pod racing game specifically, but there is like some pod racing characters in that. Sebulba.
It's both, right? It's got small ships and pod racers. Yeah.
Yeah. So
I think it'll be kind of a small game.
Yeah, because I mean,
shut up, Magnum. I'm aim shaming myself, not him. I'm making fun of how old I am.
Star Wars Outlaws came and went.
Yeah.
You know, so like it's not like this racing game is gonna really blow up like that. So yeah, hype meter, whatever. I can wait on it too if they decide to delay.
I think they'll dump it in the late summer. It'll just kind of sneak in there and they'll announce a release date. The problem is we're like getting into the middle of April, and a lot of people told me there's plenty of time, but we've been around games in the industry so long, we know when a certain time's coming, that release date's not coming out this year, you know, and unless you hear it early on or middle of the year, usually, I don't know. But I think Grand Theft Auto's made people change how they do that. Tides of Annihilation. I don't know a lot about this game, but I feel like it's action adventure Souls, not so much Souls, kind of Souls-like combat. It looks amazing. It's going to be a good one, right?
Yeah. Jennifer English.
Okay, that's a good thing.
Protagonist. Yep. Sorry, I was going to say Lae'zel, but Shadowheart and Baldur's Gate 3. She's winning all sorts of awards left and right for her voice work. Recently just won a BAFTA. So like they're definitely cashing in on her kind of star power right now. I mean, the trailer looks sick. The only thing that I worry about is, you know, there's been a flood of Souls-like games since, you know,
there's Souls and Souls adjacent. Like, I don't know what to call them, but
Lords of the Fallen, Lies of P, like all these people trying to claim Souls-like status, and I wonder if there's any sort of fatigue on that yet. But other than that, like everything that we saw in the trailer was just spectacular. I would love to see this sometime in that like August, September kind of range coming out, if they're still able to make it in 2026.
I mean, you're going up against Wolverine in September. Like we had this conversation last Monday on the show, Mag and I, about where do these games go? And then, you know, you want to give 2 weeks for Wolverine, or at least a couple weeks in and out of Wolverine. Like it's crazy. What else has Eclipse Glow Games made that made Tides of Annihilation? I'm trying to look them up. Chinese studio. I think that's all they've made. I don't know. It looks good.
It's got a 5 of 5 on Xbox. says the Google.
Oh, it does.
For his review. A 5 of 5 rating for a game that hasn't even come out.
Right. Let's see. The next one is.
Have a release date. No.
This is going to be a tough one. Are you ready, Ray? The BioShock successor, Judas. Are you a BioShock fan?
Dude, I am a BioShock fan. Infamously, I remember being at GameStop asking the cashier if he thinks if I should buy either BioShock, the original one, or Two Worlds. And he was like,
oh my gosh.
He was like, dude, I really think you should buy BioShock. I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, I really like fantasy RPGs. Like, I feel like Two Worlds could be good. And
why'd you ask him that?
I was going in blind. And he was like, dude, I'm serious. Like, I think you're really gonna like BioShock. Like, you won't regret it. I was like, okay, I'll give it a try, and it became one of my favorite franchises of all time.
Imagine the days, Ray, when you walk into a store to buy a game and you don't know how good it's going to be because the world is not connected the way that it is now.
No.
It's like unfathomable to walk in and ask a GameStop guy, hey, Rick, should I get Two Human or should I get BioShock? No, I know you said Two Worlds, but I was thinking of another game that, that didn't quite meet the mark.
Like, wait, what? Like, yeah, imagine asking a GameStop employee anything now. Like, who just like I know going into GameStop at all.
Yeah, my friend Game Seeker, who goes into EB Games, which is basically the same thing, and the guy behind the counter is like telling another customer, yeah, Xbox is not, they're done with consoles. They've already canceled their next generation console. They're done, so they're not going to be doing anything. So you should probably just get a PlayStation. Or get a PlayStation 6. We're gonna have them tomorrow, and like I could, and if I was there, I'd be like, "That's not true." Yeah.
What the hell are you talking about? What the hell are you talking
You sure
Yeah,
about
no.
that? Sure about that?
You sure about that?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's what you're doing the whole time.
Much love to GameStop. I'm not hating on anyone who's still working at GameStop, but
Yeah, I
like,
have a
yeah,
friend who does.
the
He's pretty
landscape is
awesome.
different. People are going to YouTube, TikTok to get their opinions on what games that they like, not your local GameStop employee. Or maybe that's still happening. I don't know, but I would say the majority of people don't do that. As far as Judas goes, this I feel like this would be a cool summer game, man, to get your hands on. I don't know, like I just
It
kind of
could be
get that
huge,
vibe
though.
from it.
Do you think it'll be as good as BioShock? It's Ken Levine.
No.
Do you know what the premise of Judas is? You know what it's about?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I know. I kind of feel like that. I'm like, does he still have the magic? Why wouldn't he have the magic?
There's
I don't
still,
know.
I mean, I think I like the premise, like you're saying, is interesting. I mean, it does kind of sound very like, I think the problem is that over the years, our expectation for as gamers have grown exponentially. So when that original BioShock came out, it was enough to, you know, do you want to make the good choice with, harvesting the atom from the little sisters, or you want to do the bad choice, and like that was enough. So it's gonna come down to, because like all the DNA is still there with, the powers coming out of your hand, and it's like almost like you can't control them, like from certain shots that we see in the trailer.
Yeah, love that stuff.
That kind of, yeah. So like all of that foundation is still there, with like the guns and the powers and this, crazy world that seems really interesting. But it's going to come down to these other mechanics that they have planned out, like this whole like alliance building thing that they're trying to kind of do, like work with your enemies or whatever, however they wanted to put it, like how deep that system goes and how it affects the game is really what it's going to come down to, in terms of, because it's not only about living up to BioShock's legacy, it's about doing something different, right? Like getting people, like, because if I want to play BioShock, I'll just complete BioShock. So how are you pushing the genre forward?
Yeah, I remember playing 2 and going, oh man, I didn't know much about the whole conversation, but the obvious thing was, oh, they just kind of gave us another BioShock 1. But Infinite was, in my opinion, Infinite was a brilliant game. I loved it. I played it like 3 times. So he's got his own large shoes to fill for sure. Let me grab the next one. He's amazing. Blood of the Dawnwalker. Everyone's like, I've had this whole conversation about, I've loved Crimson Desert almost 200 hours in. I think it could possibly get a Game of the Year nod, because when I look at the rest of 20
Crimson Desert on Discord, I'm like, damn, he's still at it.
Yeah. It's
like
it's
all hours of the night. I'm like, damn, he's still at it.
It's so good. And everyone like it could be getting a Game of the Year nod, and everyone's like, we don't even know what's coming out at the end of the year. And that's why I made this video today, because I'm like, you think you know what's coming out, but I don't think any of these games are going to make it. And so far, we've talked about 5 out of 14 of them, and Ray and I are feeling like they're not going to make 2026. Blood of the Dawnwalker is the one everyone says this one's going to kick Crimson Desert out of the lining. And Blood of the Dawnwalker looks incredible, but is it coming out in 2026? And when are you going to put it in there? I don't know. Have you followed Blood of the Dawnwalker? You know much about it?
Yeah, I mean, I've just kind of cursory been keeping up with it. Yeah, this is you definitely don't see as much. What concerns me about this is like there was a pretty aggressive marketing campaign for Crimson Desert, especially over the past like 5 months.
Have you played it?
Like I've played it. I haven't really dug deep into it yet.
All right.
I'm like 20 hours in.
Okay. Yeah.
And part of that was like it was kind of running funky on console at launch. So I was like, I might come back when like they patch it up a little bit. But the thing about this is like it's been kind of silence on the front when it, like, especially when you compare it to, if it's supposed to be like this Crimson Desert, give it a run for its money. Like you really haven't, like now would be the time where they would really kind of be going hard with the marketing and people talking about it, like in terms of influencers, but like it has all of the bones, right? Like I feel like there hasn't been like, when was the last time we got like a good vampire game?
Redfall?
Hey.
Like that masquerade game ended up being a total turd for my
Yeah,
good
well,
friend Brad,
and then
who
there was
big fan.
what was that battle royale? Uh, was that Vampire the Masquerade? But it was a battle royale version that I used to play with my buddy, and I'm like, yeah, like this is cool, but it was like
But they didn't
Vampire.
hit.
Yeah, it didn't survive the test of time, like in terms of all these other live service games. So like, I feel like are vampires even cool anymore? You know what I mean? Like can you? I don't know. I saw Nosferatu. That was like pretty cool, but like they're not really like in the public eye like that anymore. But as far as
Uh,
the gameplay goes, it looks sick and like it
yeah,
looks. I much prefer the at least from what we're
yeah,
seeing,
Blood
like the
Hunt.
camera angle, in terms of like the camera angle that they use, the over the shoulder and Blood of the Dawnwalker.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't think this is making 2026.
Yeah, maybe you'd have better clarity on this, but the report was that it was going to come out targeting Q3 through Q4 of 2026, and I don't know the quarters off the top of my head because certain I think Q4 spills into 2027. Let me see
Yeah,
what's
something like that.
I don't know. I didn't bother looking at when 2026. Oh, okay, that pushes October to December 31st. So maybe they are trying to make it this year, but I don't know. It looks awesome.
I'm excited
Marvel's
'cause
19.
especially.
What's that?
No, you got it. You got it. Oh, yeah,
I
you're
was
gonna
going to go
have
to the
the
next game,
19.
but you got to say what you're going to say.
Nah, nah. I just think it look cool. Like the Blood of the Dawnwalker looks cool.
Everyone thinks it looks
It's
cool. Yeah.
especially with the like. It seems like it has a stronger story and cinematic element
Yeah.
than Crimson Desert.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the story in Crimson Desert is cool when you're doing the main quests, but the problem is, which I love, I'm just doing like the whole everywhere else thing most of the time. And then when you get to do the story stuff, you get some cool stuff. But yeah, Blood of the Dawnwalkers impressed like nearly everyone. The other one is Marvel 1943 Rise of the Hydra. You got Captain America versus Black Panther. It's been delayed a couple times, but the last they said it was a 2026 game. Any chance that this huge Marvel game is going to land anywhere near the end of the year when you have Grand Theft Auto out?
That's the thing, man. It's like realistically, we're talking about are these games going to come out in 2026? Where the real conversation is going is are these games going to come out in the next 6 months? You know what I mean? Because
Yeah,
then
that's what it is.
we get to November. So like, is I think this has a better chance than most because of the IP and but ah, it
Here's
would
the other
have to be
problem,
sometime
Ray.
soon, right?
Here's the other problem that Meg and I covered last week. You've got May, June, August. It's not happening in April because it would have been announced. These games, all that we've talked about, they don't have a release date
April's
coming for
already
the end of
done.
April.
Yeah.
So you've got May, June, July, August, September, October, November, which is 7 months. We think December is like out of the question for these big games, right? But you also have June and July are kind of a non-issue. So you just basically have May, August, September, October, November, 5 months. And then one of those months is the black hole, the event horizon of Grand Theft Auto. So really, you're looking at when in these next 4 months are these games coming out. Here's the next one. This is great. Turok Origins, which look cool.
Oh god.
Like,
Yeah,
is that
it
going to
did
be a
look
good
cool.
game? I know people. I've never played Turok. I don't have like the memories. I didn't play it on the 64 or whatever. I think maybe I saw my buddy playing it. I'm like, okay, that's great. But I don't know. Is this going to be a big deal? Or is it going to be like a summer game release?
I don't. This is not something that I know Turok, like people have. It's one of those. They have. It's the nostalgia attached to it.
Yeah.
But I missed that train. So I'm
Same.
just, I'm willing to let this go, even if it does come out in 2026.
Yeah. I'll play it. People say it's super fun. Tomb Raider: Legacy of the Atlantis, the big remake.
Ooh, yeah.
There's a rumor on Reddit this week or last week. A anonymous insider that stuck around long enough didn't get banned, that said that he's heard it's in development issues and they might push it to 2027. Is there room for Tomb Raider?
Uh, I mean, this would have to be another like I don't. I feel like the announcement came and went, and it was already pretty. I don't hear a lot of chatter about
Okay.
outside of that initial reveal. There hasn't been a ton of chatter or excitement about Tomb Raider, at least in my circles, or at least the people I follow.
Yeah.
So like, if they were gonna go for like a summer, like a July release,
Yeah, makes sense.
maybe. But if they really do need the time and they're having problems in development, I mean, I feel like people will be okay waiting until 2027.
Okay, I've got a couple I'm just going to gloss over. Godslayer, which is like the Assassin's Creed meets Elemental Melee game, was shown like 8 to 12 minutes of gameplay shown in 2025. So a lot of people thought, oh, this is probably a next year game, but we don't have any information. There's a couple of journalist sites that reported that Godslayer was coming out in 2026 last year. I don't know if you remember this reveal, but the game really impressed people. You remember it?
I don't think this is one that I'm not.
It was like an Asian warrior, like feudal Japan style thing, and he can coal water or wind and fire, and it's all melee based and like Tai Chi type stuff. But it's third person. You can run around on rooftops, so kind of looks like this Assassin's Creed meets Ghost of Tsushima. The other one is Anaconda.
Oh, what the hell?
Ananta, I guess is the right way to say it, which is like the anime Grand Theft Auto game with Spider-Man web slinging. Do you remember this sucker?
Yeah. Yeah. Dude, what is this?
It looks awesome, man. You like anime, you're going to be all over this. I think Bobby asked No Law. That's a 2027 reveal or window. Yeah, Ananta or Nunta, I guess.
Because I do remember this reveal, but I'm still got so many questions. Because it has like the GTA style map down here, but it's got like that typical JRPG style that you see like all over the place now.
Yeah,
like Scarlett Nexus and like any one of those games.
It's cool looking.
What is this game?
Well, I reported that it was a gacha game with monetization, but someone corrected me in my comment section and said they pulled the gacha stuff out of it. And I'm in the developer Discord, but nothing is going on other than everyone just going in there and chatting with anime profile pictures. And I'm the only one with a blue and red faced 50-year-old guy. But I don't know. I think this game looks fun. Control Resonant is supposed to be out in 2026. I haven't heard anything about Remedy delaying it, but I guess that one's going to land this year.
Yes, I'm willing to bet on Remedy.
I think so too.
I'm willing to bet on them. I mean, they just okay. What did you think about FBC Firebreak?
Well, I hated it. My friend Dante and I played it with That Blue Number. She said you got to play it. She made us play it for like 3 nights, and we were banging our heads against the walls in party chat. I'm on fire. I'm always on fire. My thing's not working. I'm on fire. I'm dead.
Always on fire, bro.
Yeah, that game. Oh, I don't know. The weird thing about Control Resonant, Ray, is that it kind of looks cool. It sort of looks open world-ish with Melee, so it looks a little more interesting to me than Control, but I don't know. I just have a feeling it's going to come out because I'm not as hyped about it as other people are.
I'm hyped. I loved Control. I loved it. It felt very much, and with Severance coming out a couple of years later, if like a lot of things I would watch in Severance, it reminded me of Control. I'm like,
oh yeah, I love that show.
Like dang, like these guys are ahead of the game, and just even something as simple as instead of you have the gun that morphs in Control, you have the freaking Warhammer that morphs in Control Resonant. I'm like, yes, I could see. Yeah, like it was already so fun, that mechanic with just the different types of guns that you were able to use, but like morphing into a giant hammer. I was gonna say an expletive there. I don't know how. But I was down from that trailer and everything that we saw in it. I was down. I'm really hoping that this comes out in 2026. I would love for this game to come out sometime in August, but we'll see.
Did you? This trailer reminded me of a 360 game that you probably shouldn't have played, called Inversion. Do you remember this? Because
No.
Control Resonance has, you'll be at a 90-degree angle, at an orthogonal angle, and then you'll come up over and go at another 90-degree angle in the city, where it's you can kind of flip it on its side. But Inversion was this Gears of War clone that came out at the end of the 360 generation, where you had a gravity backpack and you could shoot your enemies and they would float up in the air, and you could also use it so you could go sideways on the map. It was a total bomb of a game. I think it got like a 62 on Metacritic, and it sold like five copies. You don't remember it? Inversion.
I'm looking at the. I did not play this at the time. No.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it.
Because like the morphing weapons and stuff, I remember like all those. Like
I tried to play everything back then.
Infamous, but also Darkness. The Darkness on 360.
That's great.
I loved that. All right, what are some other games? When are we going to talk about Fable?
Oh, I mean, what's going on? Well, I mean, Meg and I covered this last week. Like, we don't know when
release date.
Meg doesn't think it's going to make 2026. I think it will, but I do not know when the F it's going to land. What? Tell me how are you feeling on this?
This is the one. Like, I would have traded every other Xbox game. For Fable. I would have sold Xbox's soul on a platter for Fable. Fable is like, that original game is really kind of what kickstarted my love for video games and Xbox. Like, it sent it into another gear. And then I love the second one. Third one was whatever. So this reboot,
I like the third one.
I'm looking forward to.
It wasn't great though. Yeah, me too.
I was really looking forward to this. So when they delayed out of 2025, I was like, I was already, but whatever, if you need more time on it, sure. There's always the, better to work on a game and delay it than rush it out, whatever. But I think yeah, shut up and make my game.
Get back tired of waiting.
Office. What the hell?
I made a Fable delayed video when that rumor broke that 5 people watched, so I know what a 10 out of 10 looks like, bro.
Yeah.
But I woke up in the morning. I had my video set for 6 a.m. because the news broke like the day before. And my buddy texted me and he's like, "Is it too late to cancel your video?" I go, "No, it's already up. It went up an hour ago." And he goes, Playground Games is tweeting out autumn 2026 over and over to people ever since this news broke. And so I was trying to say, at this point, maybe they really do feel like they're 2026. I don't know.
I think because everything that, Matt Booty did a couple of interviews where he's like, everything I'm seeing from Fable is awesome. Like, I want to show it off, but like they're saying, patience, whatever. So I was under the impression that Fable was always in a better spot development-wise than people were giving them credit for.
Yeah.
Like, maybe they could have released in 2025, but they decided to kind of, just hold it back a little bit and make sure it's absolutely perfect. So
Playground usually does.
All of that thing would just flip on its head if they decided to delay again to 2027. But if they're tweeting it out, stuff on Twitter lives forever, Colt. You know this.
I know. Hey, me?
Stuff on Twitter
What have I done?
Stuff on Twitter lives forever, and so like once you put it out on Twitter, I feel like you got to do everything you can in order to make that autumn 2026.
They know that, right? They know the lives forever thing, right?
Yeah, they know.
Do you think they started tweeting that on purpose? Because they had a couple of big tweets, but I don't know.
And historically, everything that they show in the developer direct in January comes out in that year. right? There's never, I don't
think
think,
so.
I can't remember a game that they've shown at Developer Direct that didn't come out that same year. So I would be like, everything, all these context clues that we're getting point to a 2026 release.
Maybe Avowed.
I would be pretty shocked.
I think Avowed might have
I think,
been at January Direct and then got pushed to the next following year. Maybe.
I think
Anybody know? Like, what would that be? That would be 2023. Wait, what year did Avowed come out? 2025? Yes.
20,
Yeah,
25.
2025. The Xbox
Last
Developer
year.
Direct in 2024 was Avowed. I agreed with you, Ray. I thought you're right. I think every game that they show has come out that year, but I think Avowed might be the only exception.
That might be, yeah. Obsidian Entertainment, yeah. Oh yeah,
And
'cause
they
that was
they
indie,
delayed it like
Ninja,
real last
yeah,
minute.
Hellblade, yeah, yeah. That's the only one. So I guess there is precedent. I don't know,
Yeah,
but I'm really hoping,
or an outlier, however you want to call it.
because
Ray, yeah,
it's,
go ahead.
it's just such a potent trio, right? Like for the 25th anniversary, here's a new Forza Horizon game. Here's a new Gears game. If I'm sure we're going to talk about that soon. When's that coming out, right? And here's a new Fable. Like that's a much more potent trio first party release schedule than, I mean, yeah, Fable's doing a lot of the heavy lifting there. Like that, those are like their biggest franchises. So having them represented in their 25th is more important than I'd say anything.
I think Halo Campaign Evolved would be very small in numbers. Maybe.
For sure.
Yeah, I just think it will, but I don't know. We spent a lot of time last week talking about Xbox's first party games. Like, when are those supposed to release? Because Gears, we don't know. Like, I guess we think maybe Gears is the first week of October, and then Call of Duty is like 2 weeks later. Or maybe they don't want to do that. I don't know. Xbox doesn't do everything right. Shout out to Shawn in the chat. Yodonic Exotic and Happy Bomb for being great mods. Appreciate you guys. Thank you guys for being here.
Well, if we're looking at direct, like it has a direct slot, right? After the showcase, they're doing Gears E-Day Direct.
Yeah.
So historically, those games, when they have that slot, like Outer Worlds 2, Starfield, those are usually fall, right? Like Starfield was September, I guess like end of summer, bordering on to fall. Same thing with Outer Worlds 2, that was like October. Black Ops 7, I believe, is fall. So like, if we're looking at previous direct releases, I would say around the same time period.
Yeah.
Hopefully. I don't like. I feel like
I know it's coming out.
30 minutes of footage if they didn't feel good about it. So
what if you what if you just cursed us by saying historically?
Oh my gosh, yeah. I mean, sometimes you take swings in this business. You throw out some takes, you throw out some opinions, and
and they'll never forgive you ever.
but then, yeah.
Ray, I have
things live forever.
I have a tweet. I took the time in Photoshop to make two PlayStation gamers. This is before AI. Two PlayStation gamers like holding their controller, and on the screen I put Starfield with a YouTube overlay, like they're watching it on their YouTube app. And it was like, I don't know, 1,000 people liked it or whatever back in 2023 or 2022. And these guys were pulling that tweet up from over 3 years ago. Like, this you? I'm like, yeah, it's me. You guys were watching my stuff you were watching my footage on YouTube until you got the game in 2026. But yeah, it lives forever for sure.
Time, dude. Like at the time, Xbox was making a really big deal out of Starfield being exclusive.
Sarah Bond said it like on the stage.
That was the time, dude. Like, yeah. But things live forever, man. And people, they don't forget and they'll keep receipts. 3 years. 3 years. Someone is holding on to that so they can at you.
and they can at me all they want. Like that's fine.
It's dedication, dude.
As long as they don't get super nasty, then I can't deal with that kind of nonsense. But Ray, it's been awesome having you on. We usually do a 2-hour show, and then it was really good to talk about everything, man. I appreciate you being on. You don't spend a lot of time podcasting. Some of us spend too much time in front of a camera, talk about video game news, but we do this show live on YouTube. It's on Spotify and Apple Podcasts on demand if people want to listen in their car. So it's been awesome. People can tell everybody where they can find you. I've got your channel is in there at Xbox Ready. But this is a good time for you to sell how amazing you are and to tell a couple lies.
Hey man, we talked about this earlier, but I work with my buddy Jimmy on a couple of channels. The one I host is Xbox Ready. He hosts PS Ready, and he also has a channel called Deck Ready, where he talks about. It started out as him being really hyped about Steam Deck, and it grew into a larger channel about Valve and everything that they're doing, including the Steam Machine.
Awesome.
I'm also I started an Instagram that I've been posting more to, but that's more just anything I want to talk about when it comes to gaming, anime, whatever. That's Ready Media on Instagram, Ready_Media,
awesome.
Which is the name of our LLC. So I'm just yapping, man. I'm just yapping about stuff that I'm passionate about, and I would love to have y'all come along. The thing I always say on my channel is that I'm just a guy with a camera and a microphone. So just come and chill and talk games. So if you want to come by, I'm going to be doing a bunch of yapping about everything that Xbox has going on, especially in this lead up that we have to the showcase. Should be really exciting. I'll be there with Colt on the ground at whatever watch party situation they have. I don't think they're doing a live show, but they're doing Fan Fest. So if y'all are making plans to come out and, hang out at Fan Fest, come and find us. We'd love to chat.
Yeah, it'd be awesome. Thank you so much. And thank you guys for your support. I've been making a ton of content. If you get a chance tonight, watch that video where I break down all the games that we talked about. There's even a couple I didn't get to, but you can watch those and see what those games look like for yourself. You get the latest updates where I talk more in depth about what the developers have said and what the rumors are on the status of those games, because it's a packed year. And if any of those games land, we're going to have even more games that we can actually play or buy. Also, big video tomorrow, really big video. Can't talk about it, but got something really cool. It's already uploaded and privated, so I'll have that on my channel. Watch here. Make sure you do sub to Xbox Ready, and we are going to get out of here. Thanks, everybody. Hit the like button on the way out, and check this out on Spotify, and let us know what you think. We'll see you guys later. Ray, thanks again.